Chapter 1208. The Mount Song sect was originally close to the sacred Transformation Mountain. They lived in the same region as the Shaolin Temple. They were the two giants of the Central Plains. The Shaolin Temple was stronger than the Mount Song sect, but the Shaolin Temple did not care about worldly matters. They only practiced abstinence and chanted Buddhist scriptures. The worldly matters were all controlled by the Mount Song sect. Yang Wu, Little Hay, and the silver-patterned tortoise landed in an area where the Mount Song sect disciples cultivated. With their strength, it was easy for them to hide without being discovered. Yang Wu did not want to continue hiding. He had already reached the celestial rune realm. Other than the experts of the Jade Moon realm who could help him, he was not afraid of anyone else. The Mount Song sect was not enough to make him avoid them. Yang Wu did not intend to provoke the Mount Song sect. They wanted to enter an ancient mountain range to temper themselves, but he was recognized by someone. Yang Wu, stop right there. A delicate voice cried out in alarm. Then, more than 10 people flew towards Yang Wu's location. There were old and young people among them. Yang Wu still had a deep impression of one of them. It was Li Yuyue, who he met in the Dragon Phoenix Abyss. When Yang Wu saw the person who came, he frowned and asked, "What's the matter? Return my junior brother's life." Li Yue angrily shouted and stabbed towards Yang Wu. Li Yuyue was not ranked in the top 100 of the Heavenly Phoenix list, so she did not have the qualifications to enter the sacred transformation pond. She also did not know what happened at the sacred transformation mountain. The only word in her mind was revenge. Li Yuyue was at the peak of the dragon transformation realm. She used all of her strength to attack. Her chi crisscrossed, and its power was astonishing. In the blink of an eye, she arrived in front of Yang Wu. Just as her sword was about to stab Yang Wu stretched out 2 fingers and clamped her sword. "Don't provoke me." Yang Wu coldly looked at Li Yuyue and shouted. In the next moment, his 2 fingers snapped Li Yuyue's peak-grade Lesser Saint sword like a pair of pliers. Li Yue was forced back and unwillingly said, "You've come to our Mount Song sect's territory. If we let you leave alive, where'll our Mount Song sect's face go?" Then she shouted to the old man beside her, "Marshal Uncle Zhao, junior brothers would die because of him. We can't let him go." The white-haired old man's eyes glowed red as he stared at Yang Wu and shouted, "Since you are the invincible emperor, you can commit suicide right in front of me." This old man's aura surged like a ferocious tiger. It seemed that if Yang Wu dared to say no, he would immediately tear Yang Wu apart. "Little Silver, other than this old fellow, you take care of the others," Yang Wu said to the silver-patterned turtle. "Yes, master." The silver-patterned turtle shouted. Its demonic eyes pulsed with a dense, evil aura as it charged towards Li Yuyue. The silver-patterned turtle was unyielding and had a strong will. It had always been pursuing the path of becoming stronger. Yang Wu had also given it many opportunities. After it consumed the second-grade immortal liquid, it had already reached the peak-grade Lesser Saint realm. Its battle prowess was not inferior to Li Yuyue's. Moreover, Little Hay had taught it demonic arts. If it still lost this battle, then it was not worth nurturing. Courting death. The old man shouted and sent a palm strike towards the silver-patterned turtle that was charging over. This palm strike had reached the 3rd level of the Star Rune realm. It was not something a small demon could block. Before the old man's palm strike landed on the silver-patterned turtle, it was blocked by Yang Wu. Moreover, Yang Wu also sent a palm strike towards the old man. Puff! The old man felt as if he was struck by holy lightning. His body was sent flying as he spat out a mouthful of blood. Sacred Elder. The disciples of Mount Song sect saw the old man who was sent flying and cried out in alarm. This sacred elder was very powerful and had an extraordinary status in their sect. However, he was actually not a match for Yang Wu. They found it hard to believe. At this moment, the silver-patterned turtle had already pounced in front of the disciples. With a wave of the Overlord fist, several disciples exploded. "Yang Wu, you dare to kill the people of our Mount Song sect. You will definitely regret it." Li Yuyue was scared. She screamed and took out her distress jade tube, ready to release it. However, before she could release it, a strong wind swept past and snatched her distressed jade tube away. Train well with my mount. If you can defeat it, I will let you all live, Yang Wu said calmly. If it was any other time, he would not want to lower himself to Li Yuyue's level. However, he was in a bad mood now. If she provoked him, she would be asking for trouble. Moreover, Zhuo Shihan was not killed by him. It was Kuan Mingzi. This woman clearly knew about it, but she still blamed it on him. Did she really think that he did not have a temper? Li Yuyue was ashamed and angry. She had no choice but to fight the silver-patterned turtle with all her might. The silver-patterned turtle's strength had increased. He did not want to disappoint Yang Wu and Little He. He displayed extraordinary combat strength in an attempt to suppress Li Yuyue. Li Yuyue was able to represent the Mount Song sect in the Heavenly Phoenix contest and obtain a high ranking. Her strength was not weak, and she had already comprehended sword intent. She used exquisite sword moves to stab the silver-patterned tortoise. The silver-patterned turtle was also ruthless. Relying on the defense of the turtle shell, it ignored Li Yuyue's attacks and violently slammed into Li Yuyue. From now on, I will not be afraid of anyone at the same level as me. The silver-patterned turtle shouted confidently. His huge body pressed against Li Yuyue. Li Yuyue vomited blood continuously and felt the threat of death. At the critical moment, Yang Wu stopped the silver-patterned turtle. That's enough. Let her go. Master, why don't you kill her? The silver-patterned turtle asked angrily. It makes no difference whether I kill her or not. Yang Wu replied and left with Little He. The silver-patterned turtle also let Li Yuyue go and quickly followed Yang Wu. Li Yuyue climbed up and cried bitterly. The sage elder with the surname Zhao came to her side and said, "Is the invincible Emperor Yang Wu?" Li Yuyue nodded heavily and replied, "Yes, it's him." Did he really kill the young sect master? No. Then why did you shout for me to kill him? Because the person that the young sect master wanted to kill the most was Yang Wu. Yang Wu, Blackie, and the silver-patterned tortoise entered the ancient mountain range. Blackie brought the silver-patterned tortoise to hunt spirit demons of the same level to increase its combat strength and train the silver-patterned tortoise. Yang Wu, on the other hand, calmed his heart and comprehended the power of the astral pattern realm. He walked slowly as he circulated the immortal art in his body. The power of 5-star marks flashed as the power of the stars descended from the 9 heavens. The xianqi of heaven and earth in the surroundings gathered. He carefully experienced what the power of the star mark realm was and what the true saint power was. The star pattern realm attracted the power of the stars. The soul power of the divine court and the power of the Dantian fused together to form a new bridge. This bridge was the star pattern realm. It could carry the power of the star pattern realm and transform it into the power of the stars. It was also called saint power. The star pattern realm's basic requirement was to reach the elementary level of the star pattern realm. Only by condensing the star pattern realm could one draw the power of the stars and refine the saint body and soul. The star pattern rainbow was the manifestation of reaching the intermediate level of the star pattern realm. Reaching the 4th star pattern realm was like a rainbow. The absorption of the star's power would greatly increase. The starlight path was the symbol of reaching the advanced level of the star pattern realm. At that time, one would have at least 7 star pattern realm. After condensing them together, it would form a starlight path and step into a higher realm. Stars in the sky. At this step, one would be able to evolve the power of the stars and possess the combat strength of a star. It was incomparably powerful. Yang Wu borrowed the power of the underworld xianqi and the power of the stars in the Saint Transformation Pool to reach the 5th level of the star pattern realm, which was the intermediate level of the star pattern realm. The leap was too fast, and he had yet to fully comprehend the profoundness within. After calming down and comprehending, he slowly sensed where the power of the stars came from. The stars existed day and night. In the sky, they constantly illuminated the infinite living beings. Their power was pure and vast, purer than ordinary xianqi of heaven and earth. After absorbing and refining it, one could transform it into a stronger power. It could eliminate the mottled power in the body and greatly increase one's vitality. After stepping into the star pattern realm, one would have a lifespan of at least 3,000 years. After becoming a top-notch sage, one could have a lifespan of at most 10,000 years. This was also the reason why so many experts wanted to pursue the star pattern realm. It was because they didn't want to die. They also wanted to live forever. If one couldn't even reach the star pattern realm, how could they talk about living forever? It was rumored that after reaching the Jade Moon realm, one still couldn't reach the immortal realm. There was a higher realm above it. That was the true transcendence of longevity. Yang Wu felt the power of the stars unceasingly supporting his body. Next, he had to comprehend how to use the power of the stars. The fighting strength of the star pattern realm depended on how one used the power of the stars. If one used it properly, the explosive power would be stronger. If one didn't use it properly, it would be difficult to display its true might. Yang Wu drew the power of the stars and used his heart to sense it. He gradually understood the crux of the matter. His body had reached the top-notch sage realm. His soul had also reached the peak of the sage realm. He could completely digest the willpower that had been passed down by the ancestors of the Yang clan. He understood the division of the power of stars. It was the same as the Xian Qi of heaven and earth. It was also divided into 9 different types of power of stars. There were countless stars outside the 9 heavens. They had all kinds of attributes. One could draw on the power of stars which one was proficient in. Moreover, the power of stars and willpower had a complementary relationship. The stronger a martial artist's willpower was, the greater the power of the stars they could withstand, and the greater the power of the stars they could control. This was because the power of the stars could be used by a martial artist, but how much they could use was directly related to their willpower. In addition, it was also related to the Xian formula. An expert practiced the Xian formula. He absorbed the Xian Qi of heaven and earth and the power of stars. The more he absorbed, the more power he could use. This was common knowledge to all experts. However, many people couldn't use their willpower to mobilize the power of stars. They focused on cultivating their body. They often didn't have time to cultivate their soul power. Even if they understood the crux of the matter, it wouldn't be easy to cultivate the strongest willpower. The earlier an expert cultivated his willpower, the more benefits he would obtain. This would be completely reflected after reaching the star pattern realm. Chapter 1209. Mental willpower and Dantian strength were both indispensable. The combination of the two formed the star lines that carried the power of the stars. After Yang Wu fully understood all of this, he began to try his own training. Little He led the way and found a high-tier demon saint. There were some sacred herbs there. Not only could he pick them, but he could also train himself. When Yang Wu's small body appeared in front of the demon saint did not say a word. He raised his huge claws and clawed at Yang Wu. A human dares to intrude into my territory? Die! The demon saint shouted. The huge claws could easily destroy a mountain. Its power was terrifying. Who knew that his claw would be blocked by Yang Wu's small hand? Little Wu, feel the power of heaven and earth. Little He's voice sounded in Yang Wu's ears. Yang Wu took a deep breath, and his nostrils flared with rosy clouds. This was the aura of a saint. His 5 astral tattoos flickered as a neo-demon astral tattoo appeared on his forehead. A formless astral power appeared. This was the astral power of water. Dragon reverse spear art. Yang Wu used his finger as a spear. He drew on the power of the water stars and stabbed at the demon saint. Bang! The power of the stars condensed into a huge battle spear and stabbed at the demon saint's abdomen. The demon saint's defense was strong. Demon armor floated and blocked Yang Wu's spear. The demon saint was knocked back, but it was not fatal. You're strong. Unfortunately, you're still going to die. The demon saint felt that Yang Wu's power had reached its limit. It clawed down again and tore the space apart. Yang Wu drew on the power of the stars again. Using 2 fingers, the 2 battle spears floated. They were like dragons and tigers, and their power increased by a lot. The man and the demon fought fiercely, and the nearby mountains were affected by the shock waves, constantly collapsing and exploding. As the battle escalated, Yang Wu became more proficient in manipulating the power of the stars. He used his willpower to guide the power of the stars, and the 5-star patterns shone brightly. When the boundless power of the stars converged, the pressure on his spiritual energy was the greatest. If he couldn't withstand it, he would be devoured by the power of the stars. Therefore, ordinary saints wouldn't use too much spiritual energy to carry the power of the stars. This also caused them to be unable to unleash their full power. Yang Wu's soul power was strong, and his spirit power was strong. Therefore, the amount of star power he could carry was even greater. Massive amounts of star power fell on his body. Every move he made was like a burst of star power, beating that high-level beast saint to a pulp. In the end, Yang Wu's finger pierced through the high-level demon saint's vitals like a spear, easily killing it. After the battle, Yang Wu immediately sat down cross-legged to digest the insights he had gained from the battle. Half a day later, he stood up. His whole body was surrounded by the power of the stars. He was like an immortal descending to the mortal world, noble beyond words. If I fight with Jin Xiu again in my current state, I will win easily, Yang Wu said with satisfaction. He went on the road again, running the supreme 9 mysteries formula all the time. The power of the stars was tempering every part of his body, completing the real process of star body tempering. In the Saint transformation pool, the star power that was forcefully poured in was too rough. It only tempered a part of his meridians and acupoints. But now, he was replenishing it again so that every part of his body could be tempered to perfection. At this moment, the power of the stars he borrowed was like a frog steaming in warm water, slowly polishing the impurities in his body. In addition, it further expanded his meridians and acupoints. The famous and unknown meridians and acupoints in his body were cleansed, just like when he was in the martial soldier and warrior realms again. During this process, Yang Wu felt more and more changes in his body. He was becoming stronger and stronger, and the explosive power he contained was even more terrifying. The potential of a human body is limitless. The power of the stars is only the second stage of unlocking the potential of the body. This principle is the same as innate talent. Yang Wu began to understand. In the past, he only cared about tempering his innate talent. Now he felt that he could temper every part of his body, and his body would experience a qualitative leap. He had always felt that the sacred dragon body was very powerful, but now he realized that this was not the case. Even without the tempering of dragon blood, after reaching the Star Mark realm, he could still temper a powerful saint body. It seems that this kid has understood. Little Hay looked at Yang Wu's faint smile and felt gratified. However, in Little Hay's eyes, the speed of tempering the body with the power of the stars was still a little slow. It needed to be in an extreme environment to force out more potential. On this day, Yang Wu, Little Hay, and the silver-patterned tortoise arrived at a forbidden area in the mountain range, the Fiendish Abyss. There were many ferocious beasts with fiendish auras living here. It was a place that many saint-level creatures did not want to go near. It was rumored that there were even divine-level ferocious beasts in the abyss, and there were also divine-level herbs. Whether this was true or not, only those who came out alive would know. Others were terrified by this place, but Yang Wu and the 2 demons took the initiative to approach this place. When they arrived, they discovered that there were people practicing martial arts nearby. It was a young monk with delicate features and awe-inspiring Buddhist aura. He was mobilizing the fiendish aura to temper his naked upper body. Even saints did not want to touch the fiendish aura here, but this young monk was actually fearless. He was even chanting and had entered a state where he forgot about himself. Little Wu, did you see that? Even a young monk knows how to use the fiendish aura to temper his body. You can't be weaker than others. Little Hay transmitted her voice to Yang Wu. Yang Wu nodded lightly and said, "Don't worry, I'll enter the abyss myself. You could just bring little silver around here to temper yourself." After saying that, he walked step by step toward the fiendish abyss. It was a huge chasm, and layers of fiendish aura were floating in the air. It was as if huge corpses were being blown up, and it was very shocking. The fiendish aura was not weaker than the fiendish aura of the blood fiend mystic essence that Yang Wu had refined. In fact, its corrosive power was even stronger. Yang Wu walked into the fiendish aura, and his flesh started to feel itchy and uncomfortable. When he went deeper, he felt a tearing pain. This was the power of the fiendish aura. If he had not condensed a saint physique, he would not be able to get close to this place. That young monk suddenly opened his eyes, revealing a vicissitude gaze that did not match his appearance. He put his palms together and said, "Benefactor, the abyss ahead is dangerous. Please stop." Yang Wu turned around and replied, "Thank you for your reminder, Grandmaster. I have no reason to retreat." In order to become stronger, he indeed had no reason to retreat. If he could not even overcome some dangerous places, how could he become stronger? Amipa, Benefactor has great skill and courage. This little monk admires you. Why don't this little monk accompany you? The young monk stood up and responded. He quickly walked towards Yang Wu's position. At this time, Yang Wu found that the young monk was walking barefoot on the ground and was not affected by the fiendish aura at all. Just based on this point, Yang Wu thought highly of this young monk. "How should I address you, Grandmaster?" Yang Wu asked the young monk. "I don't know," the young monk replied. "You don't know? Are you looking down on me, so you don't want to tell me?" Benefactor misunderstood. "My Dharma name is I don't know. This Dharma name is quite unique. Grandmaster, are you from the Shaolin Temple?" "Yes, I'm a disciple of the Shaolin Temple. How should I address you, Benefactor?" Yang Wu. Yang Wu and the monk called I don't know chatted as they walked toward the edge of the fiendish abyss. The closer they got to the edge, the stronger the fiendish aura became. Ordinary saint-level creatures must rely on the protection of the holy armor to reach here. Yang Wu and I don't know do not need it. Their bodies are just as strong. I don't know also revealed a lot of information to Yang Wu. The most dangerous thing in the fiendish abyss is not the fierce beasts, but the fiendish wind, aura here, which contains the power to tear the world apart. If you can't bear it, you will be torn into a pool of blood. Grandmaster, I really want to enter the abyss to cultivate. Do you really want to come with me? Yang Wu asked. Of course, the once-in-a-millennium martial saint assembly is about to start. If I don't work hard, I will lose my reputation as a Shaolin disciple. I don't know said. The once-in-a-millennium martial saint assembly? Is it the legendary sacred assembly of all races? Yang Wu asked in surprise. Yes, the sacred assembly of all races. The strongest martial saint will be decided, and the resources of the saint level will be divided. Whether or not one can reach the heavens in the future would depend on this assembly. You don't seem to be paying attention to this, do you? I really don't know much about it. Can you explain it to me? No hurry, we are still a little weak. There is still some time before it starts. Let's cultivate first. Okay, then let's enter the abyss. Yang Wu and I don't know rushed into the abyss at the same time. As they entered the abyss, countless fiendish auras flooded them, and bursts of woo-woo sounds rang in their ears nonstop. Wisps of fiendish auras entered their bodies, and neither of them had it easy. Fortunately, their bodies were very strong, and they could still withstand it. However, they soon encountered the fiendish wind. The fiendish wind's power was like a blade, and each of the fiendish wind's power had the power to kill a saint. Be careful, Benefactor Yang Wu, I don't know shouted. In the next moment, he put his palms together and looked solemn. A golden bell floated around his body, forming a strong defensive power that blocked the wind blades. The Buddha's golden bell shield. Ding, 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 ding. Many wind blades swept past and hit his golden bell, leaving marks on it. Yang Wu didn't defend himself, and he used his physical strength to resist these wind blades. He just wanted to test how strong these wind blades were. When the wind blades cut his body, he grimaced in pain. Fortunately, they didn't directly cut him and only left a few marks on his body. This was the strength of his top-notch sacred body. Attracting the stars to temper the body, Yang Wu muttered to himself, and he used his immortal mystic to attract the power of the stars and combine it with the power of these wind blades. He further tortured his physical body, and polished an even stronger sacred body. Benefactor, your physical body is so strong. Could it be that you've cultivated some kind of ancient body tempering technique? Yang Wu smiled and didn't answer. He felt that he might have masochistic tendencies now. Suddenly, an even stronger fiendish wind's power swept over, and I don't know was so scared that he strengthened his defense. Meanwhile, Yang Wu shouted, "This wave of wind blades is really awesome." Chapter 12:10. Fiendish Abyss. Fiendish winds blew here all year round. Ordinary saints would be torn apart by the fiendish winds if they got close. Yang Wu and Unknown God were heading toward the abyss when they were attacked by the powerful fiendish winds. No matter who it was, they would be shocked when they were attacked by the fiendish winds. Yang Wu was not afraid. Instead, he looked forward to it. Unknown God was stunned. Yang Wu still did not use the holy armor. He used his body to block the fiendish winds. The fiendish winds were like blades cutting his body. The fiendish winds were much stronger than before. Even a mid-level saint would not be able to withstand them. But the fiendish winds only left shallow wounds on Yang Wu's body. They did not even break his skin. There was not even a drop of blood. Unknown Monk, who was using the golden bell shield, saw this. His mouth was wide open. What? What kind of holy body is this? Why is it so sick? Not enough. Come at me more fiercely. Yang Wu shouted in surprise, and actually took the initiative to guide the chaotic, baleful wind force to attack him. The fiendish winds seemed to be enraged. They madly rushed toward Yang Wu. Ding! 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 Yang Wu's body was like a top holy body. Even a top holy weapon could not hurt him. The fiendish winds looked fierce, but they could not do much damage to him. Yang Wu raised his hand and smashed the fiendish wind blades into pieces. With a dissatisfied look, he said, "Can this be considered a dangerous place? So weak." Then he rushed down into the abyss. He felt that the fiendish winds were stronger and the fiendish winds were stronger. He hoped they could give him some pressure. Now, Yang Wu wanted to train his strongest body. He wanted more pressure from the outside world. He wanted to dig out the limits of his body. Only in this way could he draw upon more power of the stars to temper his body. Every part of his body was incomparably tough. If he wanted to squeeze out more space to refine the star energy, he would have to rely on external forces to temper his body faster. Little Hay had also said that the human body's potential was limitless. When one thought that they had reached their limits, they had only encountered some bottlenecks. Only by breaking through these bottlenecks would one be able to unlock another level of potential. The more potential one could tap into, the more abnormal one's physique would be, and the more powerful one's combat strength would be. After Yang Wu rushed down, many baleful auras invaded his body. The Supreme Nine profound arts absorbed them one by one into his dantian and refined them into pure energy. They were not much of a threat to him at all. Yang Wu's eyes locked onto a storm zone. It was the place where the wind was the densest. Even high-level saints didn't dare to get close to it. The wind was still sweeping up a large number of bones and stones. Under the power of the wind blades, everything was turned into powder. Yang Wu rushed in without hesitation. His body was finally injured. Wind blades tore at his skin and flesh, and the fiendish aura entered his body and corroded it. Hiss! Yang Wu sucked in a breath of cold air. He used the celestial art to draw in star power to refine his body. The combination of the wind and star power caused even more pain. It was really not something that just anyone could endure. The celestial qi in Yang Wu's body flowed, continuously healing his injuries. He endured the pain with his strong willpower and cultivated. This was definitely an inhumane way of cultivation. Only Yang Wu dared to do this. Injury, repair, injury, repair. This repeated endlessly. The conversion of star power became faster and faster, and the toughness of his body gradually increased. Not far away, someone saw Yang Wu's self-torture and couldn't help but exclaim, "Freak! What a freak!" He cultivated the most mysterious Buddhist tendon metamorphosis, but even he didn't dare to endure the brutal attacks of the wind blades like Yang Wu. At this moment, an angry roar rang out. An even more majestic storm rushed in Yang Wu's direction. The monk's eyes jumped, and he immediately cried out, "Benefactor Yang Wu, run! It's a wind beast." Wind beasts were creatures that lived in the fiendish abyss. Their bodies were huge, and their bodies were like worms. They had large mouths, and their breaths were filled with fiendish aura. They had the innate ability to summon the wind. This was a saint-level wind beast. Even if it was only a high-ranking saint, in this abyss, it could explode with battle prowess comparable to that of a top-level saint. Encountering a wind fiend fierce beast here was an extremely dangerous matter. Yang Wu was also aware of the existence of the ferocious wind beast. He exclaimed excitedly, just in time. He didn't care about the injuries on his body and rushed towards the wind fiend beast. Wind God's Kick. Yang Wu's legs kicked towards a ferocious wind beast. The wind god's kick was most suitable for fighting in this kind of place where the wind was extremely strong. The tornado he kicked out also had a very strong amplification power. It rushed towards the wind beast. The two storm forces collided, causing an earth-shattering explosion. Yang Wu's battle prowess was fierce to begin with. He didn't show any mercy when facing the wind beast. He broke through the layers of wind blades and furiously kicked at the wind beast. The ferocious wind beast's body was huge, but its body was incomparably light. When it flashed, it was extremely fast. When it dodged Yang Wu's attack, it twisted its body, causing an even more terrifying ferocious wind blade to charge towards Yang Wu. Yang Wu forcibly broke through these wind fiend blades and angrily kicked the body of the wind fiend ominous beast. Bang bang! The wind beast was kicked away by Yang Wu, and blood splattered everywhere. Just as Yang Wu was about to give chase, he once again heard a series of angry roars, and waves of baleful wind force swept towards him from all directions. A large number of wind beasts appeared. Unbeknownst to him, the monk was also attacked by the wind fiend ferocious beasts, forcing him to fight back. Benefactor Yang Wu, run quickly. There are too many of these big guys. Unknown monk called out to Yang Wu. Yang Wu acted as if he didn't hear unknown monk's call. Not only did he not retreat, but he also rushed towards the wind beasts. I'll use you guys as an example. Yang Wu murmured. Blackie had forced him into this dangerous place to cultivate in the hope that he would be able to burst forth with a stronger fighting strength in this dangerous place. He also thought so. The large number of ferocious wind beasts that appeared here was just a stumbling block in his training. Yang Wu only used the wind god's legs to fight the wind beasts. He didn't use any other talents or battle skills. The wind god's legs was the best battle talent here. Yang Wu's legs used the wind to constantly dodge and move. His legs continuously kicked, causing a storm like a wind dragon with amazing power. There were nearly 100 wind beasts, and most of them were at the Saint realm. It was really scary. If they all attacked at the same time, even a top-tier saint would die. Because of this, the fiendish abyss was a place where no living creature could get close. Yang Wu appeared at the side of a wind demon beast. His foot technique was like a sharp blade as he kicked the wind demon beast's abdomen. A powerful chi entered the body of the wind demon beast and instantly destroyed its internal organs, killing it on the spot. He didn't stop. His body flashed again and appeared behind two other wind beasts. A series of kicks fell on them like rain, completely destroying their bodies. Yang Wu continued to kill the wind beasts. At the same time, he was also attacked by powerful wind beasts. Cracks appeared on his body, and blood seeped out. No matter how strong his body was, he would still be injured in the face of so many attacks. Under the stimulation of the pain, Yang Wu looked at the wind blades around him. Light flashed, and the power of his kicks changed inexplicably. He began to imitate these wind blades. Every one of them contained a very strong destructive power. If he could kick out the same wind blades, the lethality would be greatly increased. Yang Wu used the wind beasts as training targets. He carefully observed how they controlled the wind blades. He found that they were born with the power of wind. They could easily control the fiendish chi into wind blades and kill in all directions. My wind god's kick also contains the power of wind. I need to borrow the power of wind to form wind blades. Yang Wu thought to himself. He kept imitating the power of the wind blades and was completely immersed in the state of cultivation. The wind beasts around him were chasing after him, but he didn't care at all. He kicked out again and again, and the soul in the divine court was also sensing the changes here. His feet kicked faster and faster, and finally, the power of wind blades condensed into form. Wind god's kick, wind blade storm. Yang Wu poured all his power into his legs and activated his talent. His body spun rapidly and attracted the wind in all directions. Countless leg shadows appeared, forming a terrifying wind blade storm. Boom! Boom! The wind blades created by Yang Wu were like wind dragons carrying sharp blades as they wreaked havoc in the area. One by one, the ferocious wind beasts were turned into pools of blood by the force of his legs. These wind beasts were torn apart by the talent they were best at. They died unwillingly. Wu Yi, who had retreated to the top, saw this scene and opened his mouth wide. Umipa. Benefactor Yang Wu's comprehension is too powerful. In such a dangerous place, he can still comprehend a killing move. I don't know which side cultivated such a freak. Wu Yi had always been called the strongest prodigy by the Shaolin Temple in 10,000 years. He was also in the top 10 of the last Heavenly Dragon list. Now, he found that Yang Wu's talent was not inferior to his. It was even uncertain who would win if the two of them fought. Yang Wu had killed nearly 100 wind fiend beasts in a single move, clearing out all the threats in the vicinity. He took a deep breath, and a happy smile appeared on his face. I finally comprehended a new move. It really wasn't easy. After he comprehended Demon Slayer and Martial God's Fist, he created Wind Blade Storm. His self-created combat skills were the most suitable for him. After Yang Wu killed these wind beasts, he continued to head down the abyss. The dense evil chi here was becoming more and more threatening to him. The pain was getting stronger. It was like the pain of being skinned and pulled out. It was not any less than the pain of being struck by lightning. If he didn't have an immortal body, he wouldn't be able to withstand such abnormal torment. He finally landed in the abyss and found that there were wind blades here. A satisfied smile appeared on his face. Chapter 12:11. Yang Wu had just comprehended the storm of wind blades, and the offensive power of his wind god's leg had increased by a lot. But after leaving the fiendish abyss, without the support of the fiendish chi, the power would decrease a little. But the fiendish wind grass could solve this problem. Refining a stalk of fiendish wind grass could condense the fiendish chi. It was a sacred herb that wind profound chi saints desired. Yang Wu did not expect to see a small patch of fiendish wind grass as soon as he reached the bottom of the fiendish abyss. Among them, there were dozens of sacred herbs, and the rest were small sacred herbs. He did not hesitate to dig out the fiendish wind grass. The fiendish wind grass can condense the power of the fiendish chi and also increase the power of wind profound chi. If this medicinal power is integrated into my wind god's leg, it will definitely help the wind god's leg to release the fiendish chi, and its power will be even stronger. Yang Wu said as he swallowed a stalk of fiendish wind grass that had reached the level of a sacred herb and directly refined its medicinal power. The fiendish wind grass was not eaten like this. It contained the power of the fiendish wind. Whoever consumed it would have their meridians and organs corroded by the fiendish chi. Only the fiendish wind beasts could consume it like this. Yang Wu's stomach felt as if it was being cut by a knife, but this kind of pain was nothing to him. Very quickly, the medicinal power was refined and a strand of fiendish chi flowed into the Yongquan acupoint in his legs. Yang Wu felt the power of his wind god's leg growing and also felt the fiendish chi in his acupoints. He was very satisfied and continued to stroll around here. At this time, Unknown Monk also landed. His whole body was covered in a golden bell that blocked the fiendish chi. When he saw Yang Wu, he loudly said, "Benefactor Yang Wu, you are really abnormal." Yang Wu rolled his eyes at Unknown Monk and said, "Monks cannot speak vulgarities." Sin. Unknown monk replied with his palms together, and then said, I heard that there are many good things in the abyss, but it also contains a terrifying risk. You must be careful. Thank you for the reminder. I will be careful. Yang Wu replied and continued to walk forward. Since he had entered a dangerous place, he definitely would not leave like this. Unknowingly, the monk also caught up and walked side by side with Yang Wu. They had to resist the demonic aura at all times. It was impossible for ordinary saints to stay here for a long time. However, they were all geniuses with deep foundations. They were stronger than ordinary saints and could stay here for a longer period of time. Not long after, they really did notice another shocking thing. It was a baleful god tree, and numerous crystalline and tempting fruits grew on it. This was a fiend spirit fruit that was extremely beneficial to the soul. Its value was even higher than the wind fiend grass. Unknowingly, the monk's breathing also became hurried. We're rich. There are a total of 36 fiend spiritual fruits. The ferocious wind beast guarding that place is very strong. Do you want to go, or should I? Yang Wu said in a deep voice. Beside the baleful god tree, there was an even more powerful baleful wind beast. Its eyes were filled with baleful qi as it stared at Yang Wu and Wui. Its mouth spewed out a dense, baleful wind qi. As long as the two of them approached, it would immediately kill them. I'll measure its strength. If it's not enough, you can go. Unknowingly, the monk didn't want to miss out on the fiend's spiritual fruit. It was extremely helpful for him to condense the Buddhist saint's soul. He shouted and took the initiative to charge at the ferocious wind beast. Yang Wu didn't move. He observed the surroundings and discovered that there were still many powerful ferocious wind beasts. They were all hiding in the cave walls and would pounce out at any time. Other than that, he also saw many high-grade stone materials and some high-grade wind fiend herbs. Yang Wu didn't immediately make a move. He was watching the battle with the ferocious wind beast. Unknowingly, the monk's strength was indeed powerful. He erupted with the strength of a level 7 celestial pattern realm, which belonged to a high-grade saint. He opened and closed his Buddhist palms, and his Buddhist aura was vast and mighty as he fought fiercely with the ferocious wind beast. The ferocious wind beast made use of its geographical advantage. Even a level 12 celestial pattern realm saint might not be able to gain an advantage over it. However, unknowingly, the monk was able to fight it to a draw. It could be seen how powerful his combat strength was. If it was outside the abyss, it wouldn't be difficult for unknowingly to kill the ferocious wind beast. However, in this place where the fiendish aura was pervasive, he couldn't gain the upper hand and couldn't end the battle quickly. If this dragged on, he was afraid that he would be defeated due to his lack of strength. Just as he was about to use his trump card, Yang Wu charged at the fiend's spiritual tree. Roar! Without waiting for Yang Wu to rush over, the ferocious wind beast that was fighting fiercely with unknowingly roared and charged at him. Unknowingly, the pressure on unknowingly was greatly reduced. He sighed and said, "What a good person." He definitely didn't think that Yang Wu was acting for the fiend's spiritual fruit. He believed that Yang Wu was deliberately charging at the fiend's spiritual tree to save him. In fact, Yang Wu was doing this to reduce the pressure on unknowingly. Unknowingly came from Shaolin and was a righteous person. Yang Wu didn't want to see him get hurt here. At the same time, the other ferocious wind beasts also charged out. This is the lair of the ferocious wind beasts. Unknowingly sighed and took the initiative to deal with the other weaker ferocious wind beasts. Yang Wu fought with the top Saint Realm ferocious wind beast. This time, he didn't want to slowly hone his battle. Instead, he chose to end the battle quickly. He was afraid that he would destroy the fiend's spiritual fruit. Nether Ice Wing Blade. Roar! The Nether Ice Winged Blade slashed out invisibly and cut the ferocious wind beast's huge body in half. Beast blood splattered everywhere. Yang Wu looked at the other ferocious wind beasts and continued to kill with the Nether Ice Wing Blade. One by one, the ferocious wind beasts became ghosts under the blade. Such killing speed frightened unknowingly. Yang Wu collected the corpses of the ferocious wind beasts and planned to dig up the fiend's spiritual tree. Benefactor Yang Wu, always leave a way out. You don't have to dig up the divine tree and take it away. Unknowingly was very surprised by Yang Wu's actions. Everything in the world had its own laws. If one left a way out, there would be new fiend spiritual fruits in the future waiting for the fated person to take them. It could be considered leaving behind good karma and good karma. Yang Wu actually took the fiend spiritual tree away. Wasn't his style too ruthless? Yang Wu didn't explain. Instead, he smiled and said, "You can take half of the fiend spiritual fruits here. The rest is mine. You killed the ferocious wind beasts. I don't dare to take so many. Just 10 will do. But I hope you can leave the divine tree behind." Unknowingly. I'm an alchemist. I have a medicinal field at home. If I bring it back to planet, it won't be destroyed. This place is full of fiend spiritual chi. It's also the best place to grow fiend spiritual fruits. If you plant it, it might not be able to survive. Don't worry, I have my ways. I still hope you can leave the divine tree behind. Don't be so ruthless. Karma is a cycle. Leave behind a good root, and you will enjoy the good karma. In the end, Yang Wu still listened to unknowingly. He left a root for the fiend spiritual tree. It was very difficult for this root to survive. It might wither soon. Of course, it would have a chance to grow. Unknowingly had the urge to fight Yang Wu. This guy didn't give him any face at all. Then, Yang Wu took out the second-grade immortal liquid and poured it on the root. After the root was watered by the second-grade immortal liquid, it quickly regained its vitality. It sprouted at a speed visible to the naked eye. Unknowingly was stunned. This works? Unknowingly. Okay, now can I take the tree away? Yang Wu asked. I really didn't expect benefactor Yang Wu's fate to be so good. You even have a divine liquid. No wonder you can plant a fiend spiritual tree. Unknowingly, he silently agreed with Yang Wu's actions. Yang Wu took 12 fiend spiritual fruits and gave them to Unknowingly. However, Unknowingly still insisted on taking 10. These fiend spiritual fruits were top-grade sacred fruits. Who wouldn't want 1 or 2 more? Unknowingly was able to stay true to his heart. Yang Wu didn't force him. The two of them began to collect some herbs and stones from the abyss. This time, they split it evenly. Yang Wu continued to explore the abyss. He firmly believed that there must be a great secret here. Otherwise, how could this fiendish energy appear endlessly? Unknowingly wasn't as courageous as Yang Wu. He persuaded Yang Wu to leave as soon as possible. There was great danger here. Yang Wu continued to stubbornly move forward. However, not long after, he saw an extremely terrifying fiendish energy rushing towards him. This terrifying energy scared Yang Wu so much that he frantically retreated. He didn't even have the courage to resist. Not fast enough. Go faster. The nether ice wing blade appeared on Yang Wu's back, and he quickly flew back. Even a half-step into the heaven-piercing realm speed was not comparable. Unfortunately, it was still not enough. Oh no! Unknowingly, who had retreated far away, also saw Yang Wu in danger and involuntarily cried out. He wanted to help Yang Wu, but unfortunately, it was too late. At this critical moment, he saw Yang Wu take out a long sword. A majestic star energy was drawn over. With a slash of the sword, it was as if the galaxy was destroyed by this sword. Boom! The sword momentum and the fiendish energy clashed together, causing an earth-shattering explosion. Billowing fiendish energy rippled out in all directions. Yang Wu was swept away by the rebounding force. He spat out a mouthful of blood, and his body was sent flying far away. Yang Wu quickly bounced up and turned into an afterimage. He quickly rushed out of the fiendish abyss. Unknowingly Monk also didn't dare to stay. He fled as fast as he could, afraid that he would be affected by the fiendish energy attracted by Yang Wu. The fiendish energy continued to soar into the sky, causing an extremely shocking phenomenon. Looking from afar, it was as if the end of the world had arrived. The destructive energy was too terrifying. Yang Wu and unknowingly Monk were swept up by this energy at the same time. They were thrown high into the sky, and their bodies almost exploded. If they were just a bit slower, they would definitely end up without a corpse. Fortunately, the fiendish energy didn't continue to attack. The fiendish abyss returned to its calm state. Ba, this little monk almost lost his life here. Unknowingly, Monk fell to the ground without any strength. He was covered in blood and said with a tone of luck, "The fiendish abyss is indeed a fiendish abyss. It really lives up to its name." Chapter 12:12. In a vast mountain range, ancient trees towered into the sky. There were countless strange flowers and plants. Looking down from the sky, it was like a beautiful painting. Every step one took was enchanting. This beautiful and mysterious mountain range did not have any signs of human habitation. There was only an endless amount of spirit beasts, vicious beasts, and poisonous creatures. On this day, the sky was high and the clouds were light. The wind was light and refreshing. Two young men were sitting cross-legged in front of an old tree. They were enveloped by the light of the stars and were filled with a divine aura. One of the young men was wearing a clean navy blue martial robe. His body flickered with blue light like the power of the ocean. It was unfathomable. The other young man was wearing a monk's robe. He was a monk. He had delicate features and a vast Buddhist aura. He was a natural-born Buddha. The two of them sat for who knows how long before they slowly opened their eyes. Ba, I'm finally alive. Unknown Monk sighed. I've let you down. Yang Wu apologized to Unknown Monk. If he did not insist on going deeper, he would not have caused such great danger. Benefactor Yang Wu, don't blame yourself. I'm just trying to train myself. Moreover, I've already retreated far away and did not go deeper with you. Otherwise, I might not have been able to escape. Unknown Monk said. He then continued. I'm preparing to return to the temple. I wonder where Benefactor Yang Wu is from? Unknown Monk had never heard of a peerless genius like Yang Wu. Naturally, he had to ask so that they could take care of each other in the future. With Yang Wu's reputation, everyone in the transcendent realm knew of his existence. Unknown Monk rarely paid attention to the outside world, so it was normal that he had not heard of him. Yang Wu replied, I'm a disciple of the Battle Race's Yang family. So you're a genius of the Battle Race's Yang family. No wonder you're so abnormal. Unknown Monk had heard of the Battle Race's 8 great families. They were all geniuses with outstanding combat prowess. He then said, why don't you follow me back to Shaolin as a guest? That way, I can show you some hospitality. Unknown Monk is too polite. I still need to continue training. I'll pay you a visit when I have the chance in the future. All right. Originally, I want to temper myself a bit more. However, after seeing how monstrous you are, I have to return to the temple and properly cultivate. When my strength increases again, I will come out to temper myself. I look forward to competing with you in the Martial Saint Assembly. All right. See you at the Martial Sage Conference. Unknown Monk left. Yang Wu found Little Black and the Silver Pattern Turtle. The Silver Pattern Tortoise was trained by Blackie to fight against spirit demons and ferocious beasts that were stronger than it. First, he found an opponent of the same level, then a half-step demon saint, and then a real demon saint. Silver, silver, silver. Silver, 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 silver. And silver, silver, silver a blood. And a blood. Among spirit demons of the same level, as long as he did not meet an opponent with a higher bloodline, he could completely crush them. He could even defeat a half-step saint spirit demon or a ferocious beast. But when facing demon saints, Silver Silver A Blood was still a little powerless. He only relied on his defensive techniques to fight with his opponent. In the end, he relied on his innate attacks to kill his opponent. After winning, he was seriously injured. Under Little Hay's supervision, Silver Silver A Blood devoured the demon saint's bloodline to strengthen his bloodline power. When his strength recovered, his combat prowess increased by a lot. The Silver Pattern Tortoise's temperament was more ferocious and belligerent. It enjoyed the joy of victory and did not have any objections to Blackie's suggestion of training. Moreover, after winning, Silver Silver A Blood could soak in the second-grade immortal liquid. His physical strength would become stronger and reach the half-step demon Saint Physique. He would soon enter the demon Saint Physique. Originally, Silver A blood could also use the second-grade immortal liquid to break through to the demon Saint realm. However, Little Hay did not allow him to do so. She wanted him to cultivate the demon Saint Physique first before breaking through. Yang Wu felt Silver A blood's improvement and was very gratified. He did not want Silver A blood to follow in the footsteps of the golden-crowned eagle. Yang Wu and the others continued on their journey. They underwent an incomparably cruel training. In the Dragon Phoenix Abyss, Yang Wu was only forced by Little Hay to cultivate his innate talent power. There were not many powerful opponents there for him to train with. This time it was different. The Transcendent Realm was too big. There would be a large number of living beings between each realm. Moreover, there were also many powerful living beings. As long as he went deep into various dangerous places, he would be able to encounter such powerful living beings. Yang Wu went deep into a poisonous miasma area alone and encountered a high-level, saint-level crocodile. The crocodile's combat prowess was not inferior to that of a top-level, saint-level living being. Moreover, his defense was extremely abnormal. Yang Wu used the power of the stars to suppress him. The barbarian god's arm, which had been integrated with the python coiling arm battle technique, could be both hard and soft. He used the strength of his arms to bind the crocodile and strangled him to death. Yang Wu took the crocodile's skin and demon core. He also obtained some high-level poisons in his territory. These poisons were highly toxic, but if used properly, they could also be life-saving medicines. Yang Wu continued to shuttle through the poisonous miasma. He was immune to all poisons and completely ignored the attacks of these poisonous miasma. In addition, the sacred mandala flower loved to devour these poisonous miasma. She devoured them crazily, and her strength steadily increased. The golden scorpion that she had taken in was also continuously devoured by poisonous creatures. Its growth was also very fast. The golden scorpion was always so small, but it was a poisonous creature. Once stung by its tail, even a saint-level living being would die. With the sacred mandala flower's nurturing, it had been raised to the saint level, and its toxicity was even more overbearing. On this day, Yang Wu encountered a swarm of poisonous insects that blotted out the sky. These poisonous insects were not very powerful, but there were thousands of them. Even a saint-level living being would die after being surrounded by them. After arriving here, Little Hay did not allow Yang Wu to use the power of the stars. He only allowed him to use his weapons to kill them one by one. There were so many poisonous insects here, and he was not allowed to use his celestial chi to kill them all. It was very difficult to kill them all. Yang Wu could not help but sigh at Little Hay's abnormal training method. Even if he had a powerful holy body, it would take him a long time to kill them one by one. This training was not a test of his endurance, but rather his reaction speed and control of his combat skills. Yang Wu took a deep breath. He held the spear in one hand and the sword in the other. He divided his attention and began to kill these poisonous insects in a frenzy. Puff! Puff! Yang Wu's attacks were as fast as lightning. The long spear pierced through the poisonous insects one by one. The long sword, on the other hand, slashed continuously, taking the lives of poisonous insects one after another. This killing speed seemed very fast, but it was far from Little Hay's requirements. Little Hay said loudly, "Little Wu, use all the battle skills you have cultivated. Remember, you're not allowed to use your celestial chi or borrow the chi of heaven and earth." He was not allowed to use the celestial chi in his dantian or the chi of heaven and earth. He could only fight with his physical strength. Moreover, he had to use battle skills. This requirement was not just a little high. To kill these poisonous insects, one only needed to be fast enough. Who would have the time and energy to use battle skills to kill them? Moreover, once he used battle skills, he would have to divide his attention and use both his spear and sword skills. This was not something that an ordinary person could do. Yang Wu had no choice but to do as he was told. His battle soul could create doppelgangers. It was not difficult for him to divide his attention and use battle skills. The difficult part was a battle of attrition. Reverse Dragon Spear Art. Stellar Sword Art. The Reverse Dragon Spear Art was a spear art passed down in the Yang family. Cultivating it would allow one to condense spear intent and stimulate the power of one's bloodline. Currently, Yang Wu had only cultivated spear intent. He had not condensed his own spear Dao. The Stellar Sword Art was a sword art passed down to him by his master. It was a top-tier minor saint sword art. It was similar to his star-swallowing sword art. With the reverse dragon spear in one hand and the stellar sword in the other, he took away the lives of groups of poisonous insects. The lethality of the battle skill had indeed increased, but the speed of killing enemies had slowed down. This was because each movement of the battle skill could not keep up with the changes of so many poisonous insects. Many of them had already pounced on him. This won't do. I need to be flexible. Yang Wu endured the bites of the insects and thought to himself. He could not use his energy to shake off these insects, but he did not want them to eat his flesh either. The sacred mandala flower swallowed them one by one. This was not cheating, so Little Hay could not blame him. However, if he could not even deal with these insects, then Little Hay would be disappointed. If I only had one battle weapon, then perhaps the lethality would be faster. However, since I have to divide my attention, then I need to use both weapons to perfection. Yang Wu pondered and began to change his direction. Using the spear as a shield and the sword as an attack, he could not only prevent the insect from getting close, but also kill them. Swoosh! Swoosh! The spear spun, and the streaks of spear energy dispersed, killing many of the insects. It became extremely difficult for the insects to get close to Yang Wu. Additionally, the mysterious phoenix sword in his hand turned into the sharpest sword energy, slashing in all directions with the dense power of the way of the sword. One insect after another was slain by the sword. The way of the sword was not the power of the world. Instead, it was a kind of martial intent. It could increase a person's battle prowess and increase the variety of battle skills. There might not even be one in 10,000 people who could cultivate their own martial path. Yang Wu had the black tortoise way of the sword and the star-devouring way of the sword. If he did not use them properly, then it would be a complete waste. Yang Wu did not know how long he had been killing. A pile of insect corpses lay around him, and the insects attacking him became fewer and fewer. In the end, some of them unwillingly retreated. When Yang Wu stopped, the sacred mandala flower extended out and devoured all the insect corpses. A portion of it was absorbed by her, while the rest was fed to the golden scorpion. After Yang Wu stopped, he sat cross-legged on the ground and began to recall the battle just now, digesting what he had learned. Under the premise of not using the chi of the Dantian and the chi of heaven and earth, he continuously used battle skills. He had gained a lot. My soul and physical body are very strong, but when I use combat skills, it's still not perfect enough. The previous perfection is just an illusion. At best, I'm only at the stage of great success. True perfection is when the soul and physical body react on the same channel. Wherever the divine thought goes, the attack will follow. There should be no difference. Chapter 12:13. In the wilderness, a young man was leading a little hay dog and a silver-patterned tortoise. They encountered many dangerous situations, but they were able to break through all obstacles and force their way through. Little Hay, how have I improved this month? The young man asked the little hay dog on his shoulder. SOSO, the little hay dog replied. SOSO, the young man sighed. Of course, I haven't encountered any creature close to the god realm. It's not challenging at all. Then it seems I'll have to expose my whereabouts and make those who want to kill me appear. That's more like it. Let's hurry up and kill them. Then we'll be able to search for profound essence chi in peace. What if I die? With the immortal peach tree, you won't die. All right, before we enter Thunder Mountain, I'll expose my whereabouts. Whether it's the Xing family or Yama Palace, anyone who wants to kill me can come at me. For a month, Yang Wu walked from Sacred Transformation Mountain to the Apothecary Union. He walked through the mountains and the wilderness, where spirit demons, vicious beasts, and even foreign races roamed the most. Alone, he was fearless and courageously moved forward. Even though he had the strength of a level 5 celestial rune realm, he still encountered many dangers in these places. For example, there were god-level existences in the fiendish abyss, divine poison bugs hidden in the poisonous miasma, and tens of thousands of vicious beasts in the wilderness. These existences made him suffer a lot. Yang Wu improved quickly through these trials. He comprehended Windblade Storm, Spear and Sword as One, Soul Kill, and other offensive moves. He also borrowed the power of the stars to temper his body. The Divine Court Dao flower finally bloomed its 10th petal, and all of his innate abilities entered the second stage of great success. He also cultivated the Black Tortoise Spear Way with the Black Tortoise Way of the Sword, which had the same origin as the Black Tortoise Way of the Sword, so it wasn't difficult to comprehend. The Way of the Black Tortoise had a lot to do with the power of his bloodline. It was also a martial art passed down by the will of the ancestors of a Yang family. Yang Wu had gone through a period of training, and it was reasonable for him to have mastered the Black Tortoise Way of the Spear. Regardless of whether it was the spear or the sword, after condensing the martial path, the attack power would be greatly increased, and the battle prowess would be even more powerful. In this 1 month, Yang Wu's realm did not increase too much, but his combat power already rose a level comprehensively. He could now control 80% of the power of the stars. Why was it only 80%? An ordinary saint would only be able to use 10% to 30% of a star's power. Even a peerless genius would only be able to use 40% to 50% of the star's power. Most saints would not be able to withstand the pressure of the star's power. This had a lot to do with their soul's will. The soul and the physical body were the foundation to withstand the power of the stars. Many martial artists only focused on cultivating their physical body, and their soul's power was not strong. There were also some who focused on cultivating their soul's power, but their physical body could not keep up. The two were difficult to balance. So even if they reached the Star Rune realm, they would not be able to use more stars' power in battle. Yang Wu being able to use 80% of the star's power was already a terrifying number. Once he reached 100%, he would be able to completely control the power of the stars. Only when one reached the peak of the Saint Realm would they dare to say that they could control the power of the stars. This was also the great Tao of the stars imprinted on the immortal immortality Peach Tree's leaves. Yang Wu still had not completely comprehended the martial path. He did not want to think about the great Tao of the heavenly Tao for the time being. After this month of training, Yang Wu felt like he had been reborn. He had become much more confident. He really wanted to cultivate in this kind of battle for a few years. At that time, his Tao of life and death might become even stronger. Unfortunately, he did not have that much time. He had to hurry to the Apothecary Alliance. Chao Jifei said that this was a matter of great importance to the Yang family. Miao Miao also hoped that he would hurry over. He could not delay for too long. Thus, Yang Wu left the wilderness and found a city. He rode on the silver-patterned turtle and teleported to the Kunlun realm. Yang Wu's appearance had already spread throughout the Transcendent realm. Anyone who paid attention to the world's affairs would be able to recognize Yang Wu. Soon, some people who wanted to kill Yang Wu caught up. Although Yang Wu's name had been removed from the bounty list, it did not mean that no one dared to kill him. King Yama's palace had already released King Yama's decree. This was a command token. All the demonic cultivators in the world would listen to King Yama's decree and come to kill Yang Wu. As long as they killed Yang Wu, they could join King Yama's palace and obtain the cultivation resources of King Yama's palace. They could become stronger. In the eyes of these demonic cultivators, King Yama's palace was the leader of the demonic cultivators. It was the holy land that they yearned for. The first demonic cultivator who chased after Yang Wu was a rogue cultivator. He was a famous demonic saint and was known as the demonic cultivator. This person cultivated the 9-blood demonic technique and specialized in refining the blood of demonic creatures. He condensed demonic power and was extremely powerful. Even though he was only a high-level saint, he could hunt down top-level saints. The reason why the demonic cultivator came so quickly was that he was the closest to Yang Wu. He had teleported from another city and quickly caught up with Yang Wu, who was traveling openly. The demonic cultivator was dressed as a monk. He wore a gray robe and carried a sword on his back. He rode on a demonic winged eagle. When he saw Yang Wu from afar, he shouted, "Is that Saint Master Yang Wu?" "It is Yang Wu. And you are?" Yang Wu looked back and asked, "I'm the demonic cultivator. I'm here to take your head." The demonic cultivator laughed. The sword on his back flew out and turned into a rainbow that slashed at Yang Wu's head. Controlling a sword to kill was quite a clever method. The demonic cultivator had cultivated the 9-blood demonic technique to the 7th level. His sword had drunk a lot of demonic blood and was called the demonic blood sword. When he slashed out, a bloody light appeared and the power was astonishing. Yang Wu stood with his head held high. He raised his fist and punched out across the air, shattering the power of the demonic blood sword. Demonic blood hell. The demonic cultivator rode on the demonic winged eagle and quickly descended. He condensed a demonic blood hell, and countless demonic blood swords slashed at Yang Wu. The demonic cultivator attacked with all his strength, not giving Yang Wu any chance at all. Ordinary timid people would be scared out of their wits and find it difficult to resist such a powerful move. Yang Wu ignored this terrifying scene. He swept out from the silver-patterned tortoise and kicked out continuously. Wind God's kick of the wind, God's wind blade storm. The power of the wind swept out, forming a terrifying storm of sharp blades that crushed the demonic cultivator's attack and enveloped him. So strong, the demonic cultivator panicked when he felt Yang Wu's power. He was at the 7th level of the celestial rune realm, but Yang Wu's attack was easily neutralized and counterattacked. Only then did he realize that Yang Wu's strength was beyond his imagination. "You dare to hunt me with such little strength? Who gave you such courage?" After a month of killing, Yang Wu's baleful aura was incomparably dense. His voice was like thunder, causing the demonic cultivator to retreat. The demonic cultivator was furious. He wasn't even afraid of a peak Sage Realm expert, but he was actually forced to retreat by a junior. He couldn't keep his old face. "You have successfully angered me. I will make you suffer a fate worse than death." The demonic cultivator shouted, and his body underwent a transformation. The power of demonic blood washed over his body. His body grew bigger, and a mass of demonic chi pervaded the air. This was the 9-blood devil technique. Once the demonic technique was activated, his battle strength would rapidly soar. 3rd blood devil kill. The demonic cultivator attacked again, and his battle strength that was comparable to a peak Sage Realm expert erupted. 3 sword rainbows filled with demonic blood chi slashed at Yang Wu. The demonic sword momentum was filled with dense, baleful aura. It broke through layers of space and collided with Yang Wu's wind blades. Rumble, rumble. Yang Wu's wind blades were still powerful, and the 3 blood swords were shattered. 4th blood devil kill. 5th blood devil kill. The demonic cultivator was forced to the extreme. He continuously used powerful moves, and the power of his blood devil sword Dao was constantly rising. The blood devil sword Dao erupted, and the blood swords that soared into the sky finally shattered Yang Wu's wind blades. They also slashed towards Yang Wu. The demonic cultivator was able to become a terrifying demonic cultivator because he comprehended his own sword Dao. With his demonic technique, it was not a lie that he could slaughter a peak Sage Realm expert. However, he could only slaughter a peak Sage Realm expert who had reached the 10th level of Star Rune Boundary. He didn't have the ability to kill a peak Sage Realm expert who had reached the 11th or 12th level. After Yang Wu felt the demonic cultivator's sword Dao, he no longer used the wind blades. It was a bit difficult to kill the demonic cultivator with just this move. He took out the mysterious phoenix sword and erupted with his own sword Dao, and fiercely fought with the demonic cultivator. He used the demonic cultivator as a whetstone. He used 5-star runes to draw 30% of the Star Rune Boundary's power, and the power of his slash was enough to be on par with the demonic cultivator. When he drew in 40% of the power of the stars, the power of his sword Dao became extremely terrifying. The sword chi reached 40,000 feet in length, completely shattering the power of the blood demon sword. It left a bone-deep wound on the demon Taoist body. If the demonic cultivator wasn't wearing his saint armor, this slash would have killed him. The demonic cultivator was horrified. He didn't dare to hold back anymore. The 7th level of his demonic technique erupted, as if he had turned into a powerful demonic cultivator. The majestic blood devil, Sword Dao, also slashed out with all his might. 7th blood devil kill. The omnipresent blood devil sword shadows slashed the surrounding clouds, and the space cracked open again and again. It was as if many terrifying demonic cultivators had appeared. Its power was incomparably shocking. This slash was enough to slaughter a peak Sage Realm expert. Stars appeared behind Yang Wu's back. Blue flames condensed into the shape of the black tortoise. It roared and screamed. Heaven and earth collapsed, and the stars exploded. Black tortoise Sword Dao. A black tortoise with raging flames rushed into the blood devils, and the blood devils were all scattered. It was a one-sided battle. No wonder the king of Hell's palace sent out the king of Hell's decree. It seems like I have to use my trump card. The demonic cultivator thought to himself. He finally used his biggest trump card. Innate skill, demonic blood devouring vine. Chapter 12:14. The demon cultivator's innate divine ability was awakened after refining a variety of demon blood. This innate talent was extremely strange. When it erupted with his bloodline power, countless demon blood formed a patch of demon blood devouring vines that enveloped the world and bound towards Yang Wu. Each demon blood devouring vine was comparable to a top-grade sacred weapon and was extremely tough. If any creature was bound by it, they would definitely be strangled to death. After Yang Wu used the black tortoise Sword Dao to break the demon blood Sword Dao, he felt the existence of the demon blood devouring vines. The vines filled the world, and he couldn't escape even if he wanted to. This is your ultimate move? Then you'll lose, Yang Wu said contemptuously. The phoenix profound sword kept slashing, cutting off the demon blood devouring vines. The phoenix profound sword was a top-grade sacred weapon reforged by Little Hay. It could be ranked in the top 100 sacred weapons list. Sacred weapons of the same level couldn't be compared to it. The demon cultivator sneered when he saw Yang Wu cut down the demon blood devouring vines. Cut to your heart's content. I'll suck your blood dry later. Under Yang Wu's bombardment, many of the demon blood devouring vines collapsed and turned into strands of demon blood pearls. They drilled towards Yang Wu like bloodworms. When these demon blood pearls stuck to Yang Wu's body, the demonic poison seeped in. Moreover, the demon blood pearls also wanted to seep into his body and devour his bloodline power. The demon cultivator roared, 9-blood demonic technique. The power of the 9-blood demonic technique was that it could devour and refine the bloodline power of other creatures and transform it into its own bloodline power. It was extremely vicious. As expected, I can't underestimate these guys. Yang Wu sighed softly. Blue demonis swam around his body and burned all the demon blood pearls. It was impossible for them to devour Yang Wu's bloodline power. After all the demon blood pearls were burned clean, the demon cultivator knew that it was impossible for him to take down Yang Wu. He quickly returned to the demonic winged condor and poured all his power into the condor's body. He retreated without hesitation. It's too late to escape now, Yang Wu shouted, and the nether ice wing blades grew out from his back. 2 pairs of wings flapped and created a whirlwind that tore the space apart. In the blink of an eye, he arrived behind the devil Dao cultivator and slashed down with his sword. No! Puff! Yang Wu's sword was filled with a strong killing intent, and it cut the devil Dao cultivator and the devil winged condor into 2 halves. A ruthless demonic cultivator had fallen. After Yang Wu took away the devil Dao cultivator's universe object, he once again set out on his journey. At the same time, he had to be Lin's foam of the stones of the god. Demon blood god. Yang Wu's gaze landed on a black stone. He felt that this black stone was extraordinary and immediately took it out. Little Hay, what kind of stone is this? Why do I feel that it makes my heart palpitate? Yang Wu asked Xiao He after looking at the black stone and making sure that he couldn't recognize its origin. Little Hay looked at the black stone and said in surprise, "This is a demonic blood divine stone. No wonder that person can cultivate such a powerful demon cultivation art." The demonic blood divine stone was a divine stone that was infused with a large amount of demon god's blood. It contained the demon god's will and could absorb a large amount of demon blood. This demonic blood divine stone was very useful to the demon race. In the hands of the human race, only those who cultivated the demon race's cultivation art could use it. Yang Wu wanted to throw it aside, but Little Hay said, "This is a good thing to temper your soul battle will and bloodline power. You have to use it well." "I can use it?" Yang Wu asked. "Of course. If you hold the demonic blood divine stone and use your soul strength to visualize it, you will be able to manifest the demon god's image. Your soul strength will be able to battle with the demon god's image. This is the best divine item to temper your soul strength." Little Hay explained, "Your bloodline power seems to have reached the ancestral awakening realm, but it's still not enough. The demonic blood chi in this demonic blood divine stone can further stimulate your bloodline power. It's a pity that this demonic blood divine stone is too small. I don't know how many more times you can use it." Yang Wu was enlightened. He didn't think that the demonic blood divine stone would be beneficial to him. However, now is not the time to use the demonic blood divine stone. Who knew when the demon Dao would come to kill him? Sure enough, 2 days later, a group of fiendish people came to kill him. However, these fiendish people were the same as the demon Dao people. They had underestimated Yang Wu's battle prowess. Most of them were killed by Yang Wu. A small number were left for the silver pattern tortoise to train, but they were all killed by the silver pattern tortoise. After Yang Wu killed a few batches of invaders, these demon Dao people didn't dare to act rashly. There was a leader of the demon Dao called Evil Child in the direction Yang Wu was heading. He had gathered a large number of demon Dao people. Evil Child was a leader of the demon Dao people who had risen to power less than 200 years ago. He was as tall as a dwarf, and his face was like a baby's. He liked to devour babies and use the innate chi of babies to cultivate. He would always be like a child, possessing an extremely powerful and terrifying strength. Evil Child had reached the 11th level of the Astral Mark realm and was a top-notch saint. He sat cross-legged on the peak of a mountain and was one with heaven and earth. It was difficult to detect his existence. A saint rode on a black Tyrannosaurus Rex and rushed over. This saint wore black battle armor and held a trident sacred weapon. His entire body was surging with a murderous aura. He was the famous Blood Shura, and was also a top-notch saint who wasn't inferior to Evil Child. When Blood Shura landed, 2 more figures appeared at the same time in another direction. Dark Demon and Evil Witch. They were a man and a woman. They were extremely ugly and had a string of skulls hanging from their necks. It was obvious that they were people who killed people like flies. In addition, there was a man as tall as an iron tower striding over. He carried a huge mace and was surrounded by a murderous aura. He gave off a feeling that strangers shouldn't get close to him. Evil Child, don't you think you're making a mountain out of molehill by calling us over to hunt down Yang Wu? Dark Demon sneered with a hunched body. Blood Shura answered first. The demon Dao people are already dead. He's worth us working together to kill. Once the king of hell's order is out, the person who gives the order must be killed. Evil Child shouted coldly. Among these people, only Evil Child had already joined the king of hell's palace. The others hadn't. There's only one person. If we work together to kill him, can we all join the king of hell's palace? The man as tall as an iron tower asked in a booming voice. Yes, if we work together to kill the enemy, can we join the king of hell's palace? Evil Witch also asked. Their realms were very high. They were powerful people who could establish their own sections. The reason why they insisted on joining the king of hell's palace was not to obtain the protection of the king of hell's palace. Instead, They hoped to obtain a higher-level mystic formula from the king of Hell's palace so that they could break through the Jade Moon realm and reach the heaven-reaching realm. If they didn't reach the heaven-reaching realm, there would be a day when they reached the heaven-reaching realm. Only the king of Hell's palace had the evil demon mystic formula for the heaven-reaching realm. It was almost impossible to find it anywhere else. The king of Hell's order is supreme. If you work together to kill Yang Wu, you can naturally join the king of Hell's palace. Evil Child replied with a baby-like voice. All right, then we'll work together to kill him. The man as tall as an iron tower. His name was Gao Shanyan. His body contained the bloodline power of the demon clan. He was very powerful and temperamental. Evil Child, Blood Shura, Dark Demon Evil Witch, and her husband, and Gao Shanyan were a total of 5 top saints. With such a lineup, it would be easy for them to destroy a top second-rate force. Even a normal first-rate force might not be able to stop them. The 5 of them and their subordinates were all summoned. They went to the border of Kunlun's field to kill Yang Wu. Along the way, Yang Wu fought no less than 10 bloody battles. He killed no less than 100 saints of the demonic path. His combat power was steadily increasing. Without the help of the heaven-reaching divine weapon, he could easily fight a saint at the pinnacle. His way of the spear and way of the sword continued to improve. The power of conception that burst out produced many different changes. This was the true manifestation of his way of the spear and way of the sword. Yang Wu sat cross-legged on the silver-patterned turtle and absorbed the power of the stars. The power that he consumed was quickly replenished. The silver-patterned turtle also took the opportunity to devour the power of the stars and strengthen the power of the demon core. Yang Wu was improving, and so was the silver-patterned turtle. Soaking in the second-grade celestial liquid, even an ordinary spiritual demon could quickly grow. We're almost at Kunlun's fields, Thunder Mountain. Yang Wu looked at the vast mountains in the distance. His vision was open, and he was in a good mood. He had gained a lot from the continuous battles, and he was in a good mood. News of you has been spreading. There will be more people coming to kill you. Even if there are no reaching heaven-reaching realm, there will definitely be those who are half a step to reaching heaven-reaching realm. They might even come with divine weapons. Don't fail miserably, Little Hay reminded him. I really want to fight with a reaching heaven-reaching realm. Yang Wu said with a look of longing. When you come out of Thunder Mountain, there will definitely be such opponents, Little Hay said with certainty. I hope so too. Yang Wu sighed softly. After a pause, he asked, do you think I can make divine pills now? With your current ability, you're still far from being able to make divine pills. No way. I can make divine pills before reaching Saint Realm. Now that I'm in Saint Realm, will it be difficult for me to make divine pills? Don't think that making divine pills is as easy as making divine pills. If you don't have divine intent, you won't be able to control the medicinal properties of divine herbs. You won't be able to make divine pills at all. Give up for now. What is divine intent? When your soul reaches God realm, you'll naturally understand what it is. Okay, I'll try to reach godly soul realm as soon as possible. As they chatted, they finally entered Kunlun's field. Yang Wu stopped talking with Little Hay. He sensed that there were many powerful auras locking onto him. When Yang Wu saw the figures appearing from all directions, he couldn't help but sigh softly. They really think highly of me. So many saints have come at once. Once the Yama's decree was issued, the one who gave it must be killed. Chapter 12:15. On the peak of a majestic mountain, Evil Child, Blood Shura, Dark Demon, Witch, and Gao Shanyan stood in the air, looking at the battlefield in the distance. The battlefield ahead was where their elite subordinates were. There were close to 100 saints, and they had prepared all kinds of high-level saint weapons to deal with Yang Wu. If Yang Wu can even pass this, we'll work together to take him down, Evil Child said. No matter how strong he is, he won't be able to pass this. We might not be able to pass this alone, Blood Shura said from the side. He's not even 30 years old, but he already has such abnormal strength. He's comparable to the remnants of the ancient times. Even in the ancient times, he would probably be a domineering figure. It's a pity that he rejected the king of Hell's palace. Only death awaits him. Yang Wu sensed the ambush ahead. He did not change his direction and continued forward. He transmitted his voice to Little Hay. Take care of Little Silver. Don't let anything happen to him. All right. As long as you can deal with them, you don't have to worry about anything else, Little Hay replied. Many demonic saints flew out. Someone shouted, set up the inescapable net. As soon as the voice was heard, a huge net descended from the sky, shrouding Yang Wu's position. The net seemed to be able to expand infinitely, enveloping the entire space. No one could escape from it. After Yang Wu saw the net, the mysterious phoenix sword appeared in his hand. He slashed out a shocking sword across the sky. Whoosh! Lan Yaoji was attached to the sword chi. She slashed out an extremely sharp sword, wanting to break the huge net. However, the giant net's toughness was beyond his expectations. His sword could not cut through the net at all. A demonic saint laughed wildly. This is the heaven-catching net, ranked 33rd on the divine weapon ranking. It's not that easy to break it. The top 100 divine weapons on the divine weapon ranking all had extraordinary abilities. They were not as powerful as divine weapons, but they were comparable to divine weapons. The heaven-capturing net had been infused with the toughest heaven gold silk and profound gold divine stone. It was a top-notch sacred weapon, and even a half-step divine weapon might not be able to break it. Not many people knew that the heaven-capturing net had fallen into the hands of the demonic path. Otherwise, it would have caused a reign of terror. The heaven-capturing net was the best sacred tool for capturing enemies. Once it appeared, it meant that the target would have no way to escape. It could grow infinitely, and it could bind the space of an area. Even a fly would not be able to escape from its grasp. Yang Wu knew about the saint weapon ranking and had also read some records about it. He knew about the existence of the heaven-capturing net, but he never thought that someone would bring such a heavy weapon to deal with him. He thought to himself, it's such a pity to destroy it. Then he transmitted his voice to Little Hay. Little Hay, keep it for me. I don't want to destroy it. If you want to take it yourself. Little Hay did not care about these things at all. It could even forge divine weapons, so what was a holy weapon to it? Yang Wu had no other choice. He could only quickly retreat, not wanting to be caught by the heaven-capturing net. Unfortunately, no matter how fast he was, he could not escape the heaven-capturing net. While Yang Wu was bound, wave after wave of attacks came at him. Boom! Boom! The sabers, spears, and swords all contained powerful offensive power, and they wanted to smash Yang Wu into smithereens. Yang Wu's black tortoise armor appeared, and its powerful defensive power blocked these attacks. It was almost impossible for anyone who was not at least a half step into the heavenly ascension realm to injure him. He was willing to endure these attacks, not only because he did not want to destroy the heaven-capturing net, but also because he wanted to hone his defensive skills. He hoped that the defensive power of his defensive power could be like the Taiji fist, where he could borrow force to attack force, and use the weak to defeat the strong. The black tortoise armor was like the 8 trigrams array, and the defensive power was very similar to the Taiji fist Dao. Yang Wu had already comprehended a little of the Taiji fist Dao, and together with the armor, he could indeed make the defensive power even stronger. More than 10 sages attacked Yang Wu, and they thought that even a top-tier sage could kill him. The people standing on the mountain peak in the distance were all puzzled. Was Yang Wu killed just like that? They felt that it was not very possible. As the saying went, a person with a great reputation lived up to his name. If Yang Wu could be killed so easily, they would not have gathered here. All right, stop attacking. He must have been killed. The sage controlling the heaven-capturing net shouted loudly. The other sages stopped their attacks one after another. Before these forces dissipated, 2 formless forces shot out. Netherworld ice wing blades. 2 pairs of netherworld ice wing blades, and 4 wings, slashed at the sages around them. The first to be slashed was the sage holding the heaven-capturing net. Just as he finished speaking, he felt a chill on his neck, and his head was separated from his body. The other sages did not expect an invisible attack to come at them, and several sages were slashed in half. What's going on? Does he still have companions? Not good. It's an invisible attack. Everyone, be careful. Yang Wu is not dead yet. He's going to take the heaven-capturing net. Kill him quickly. Some of the sages who were not killed panicked. After seeing more than 10 sages being killed in an instant, they hurriedly activated their senses to the maximum and activated their defensive power to the maximum to avoid being killed by the hidden attack. At this moment, Yang Wu had already broken free from the heaven-capturing net that no one was controlling. He kept it in his hand and smiled. I didn't expect to get a sage artifact on the sage artifact ranking so easily. Yang Wu did not want to be entangled with these sages and continued to control the Netherworld Ice Wing Blades to kill in all directions. The Netherworld Ice Wing Blades were comparable to a top-grade sage artifact, and they also contained a chilling aura. It was not something that any sage could withstand. A sage wearing a high-grade sage armor was also slashed in half at the waist. He died with his eyes wide open. One of the sages reacted very quickly. He waved the sage artifact in his hand and released a powerful attack that affected the surrounding environment. He wanted to find the hidden Netherworld Ice Wing Blades, but the Netherworld Ice Wing Blades still forcefully broke through his attack and took away his life. The invisible attack was impossible to guard against, and these sages were all caught off guard. They were all trembling with fear and were in a dilemma. Fortunately, one of the sages had a secret technique. He shouted, "All of you, get out of the way. Wait for me to break this invisible attack." The next moment, he raised an item in his hand. Then, blood-red light splattered in all directions, and this part of the world was dyed into a hazy blood aura. After the Netherworld Ice Wing Blades came into contact with the blood aura, a trace of blood shadow appeared. They were no longer invisible. "They're over there. Destroy them," that sage shouted as he pointed at the Netherworld Ice Wing Blades. "So what if I've been discovered by you? I'll still die," Yang Wu said indifferently. He still controlled the Netherworld Ice Wing Blades as usual, forcing the sages to use their trump cards to block him. They hoped to destroy the Netherworld Ice Wing Blades. None of these demonic sages were weak. They had committed all kinds of evil and obtained a lot of ill-gotten wealth. Each of them had their own means, but unfortunately, there were not many who could take out a sage artifact that was comparable to the Netherworld Ice Wing Blades. Fortunately, they reacted quickly. A dozen of them worked together to hold back the Netherworld Ice Wing Blades, while the others launched a fierce attack on Yang Wu again. "If we don't kill him, we'll be the ones to die. Everyone, don't hold back anymore," a sage shouted. At this moment, these sages activated their strongest combat strength. They must kill Yang Wu. Evil Bell Suppression. Centipede Soul Devouring. Illusory Ice Destruction. A sage came down with an evil bell in his hand. Boundless evil chi formed the appearance of monsters, bringing terrifying pressure to the opponent. There was also a sage who threw out a centipede. This was a centipede that contained a strange poison. It was an evil guy that grew by devouring the power of souls. There was also an illusory ice falling down from the sky. Its target was Yang Wu. The other sages' attacks were not weak. When they worked together, even a top-level sage might not be able to withstand it. Yang Wu had cultivated hard for a month. His body was tempered by the power of the stars. His physical body had reached the level of a top-level sage. His 5 senses were extremely abnormal. These attacks became incomparably slow in his eyes. They were not worth mentioning at all. He held the heaven-catching net in one hand and the double-edged triple dragon spear in the other. He took ghostly steps and rushed through these attacks. The spear turned into a black tortoise and took the initiative to challenge the armor of one of the sages. It shattered his internal organs and killed him on the spot. The battle spear turned into a dragon snake swinging. The sage next to him did not react in time. He was hit in the face and his head shattered. Yang Wu was like a wolf in a flock of sheep. These sages were no match for him at all. On the mountain peak, Evil Child, Blood Shura, and the others all looked shocked. If it were any of them, they would not be able to slaughter these sages like chickens and dogs. "We can't wait any longer. His combat strength is no less than ours. We have to kill him quickly. Otherwise, we'll suffer great losses," Blood Shura shouted. Without waiting for Evil Child's order, Blood Shura took the lead and rushed in the direction of Yang Wu. Dark Demon, Evil Woman, and Gao Shanyan also rushed out. The pressure that Yang Wu brought to them was too great. Taking advantage of the fact that Yang Wu was pinned down, they had to kill Yang Wu in one blow. Blood Shura pulled out the crimson blade on his back, and the shadow of Shura appeared behind him. His crimson blade slashed out, and the way of Shura condensed into the Shura Hell. It slashed at Yang Wu with terrifying power. This was the power of a top-notch sage. The power of the stars descended like the power of a rainbow bridge. The torrential saber light broke through the sky with endless power. Dark Demon, Evil Woman joined forces to attack. They cultivated the art of combined attack. The double claw technique turned into a field. Countless claw lights tore through the world. Gao Shanyan's arms burst with endless power. He waved his mace and smashed it down with great force. It was as if he could smash a mountain range into pieces. The combat strength of the top-notch sages around them was too powerful. They had martial arts, art of combined attack, and innate power. The destructive power caused by their simultaneous attacks was too terrifying. The sages who were still attacking Yang Wu were so frightened that they quickly retreated. They were afraid that they would be affected. Yang Wu also felt the sudden attack. There was no trace of panic on his face. He sneered and said, "I was waiting for you to come together." Black Tortoise's Clone. Chapter 12:16. The Black Tortoise Doppelganger was a bloodline secret skill that could only be used by Yang family disciples whose bloodline concentration was above 80%. In the current Yang family, only Yang Wu could use such an ability. Perhaps Yang Taihe could too. Others might not have such an ability. In addition to the bloodline requirement, there was also a requirement for the soul. If Yang Wu's soul had not reached the War Soul realm, he would not be able to use the Black Tortoise Doppelganger. The Black Tortoise Doppelganger was formed by the will of the soul and fused with the war blood. It could unleash 80% of the combat power of the real body. Yang Wu split into 4. Including the real body, a total of 5 clones faced the demonic saints at the same time. Yang Wu's real body faced the most powerful Blood Shura. He wielded the double-edged triple dragon spear and used the reverse dragon spear technique. A black tortoise broke out of the water and soared into the sky with a huge river. This was the power of the black tortoise spear way. It rapidly increased the power of Yang Wu's spear technique. A doppelganger used the overbearing divine palm and blasted towards the claw realm of the dark demon evil priestess. The endless fire power condensed into a palm print that carried an extremely overbearing momentum to destroy everything. A doppelganger used the martial god's fist, which contained the Jinwu boxing way. It was as if the sun and moon were rotating, and also as if the black tortoise was breathing in and out. A doppelganger rushed towards the other saints and continued to kill them. Bang! 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 A series of shocking explosions rang out. The space was constantly shaking, and the destructive power was too great. Yang Wu's double-edged triple dragon spear collided with the azure saber of the Blood Shura, creating a large number of sparks. The Blood Shura was indeed a top demonic saint. The combat power of the azure saber way was comparable to that of a saint at the peak. He was very strong, and it was difficult for Yang Wu to suppress him. His opponent was not an ordinary saint. If he was not careful, he could cause harm to him. The combined combat power of the Dark Demon Evil Priestess was not inferior to the Blood Shura. Yang Wu's doppelganger used the overbearing divine palm and only tied with them. Gao Shanyan was extremely strong. He was fiercely colliding with one of Yang Wu's doppelgangers. The wolf-tooth mace, turned into a giant wolf demon, was attacking Yang Wu. After Yang Wu fought with these top-notch saints, he realized that none of them were weak. They all had their own fighting styles and were not easy to kill. Yang Wu thought that he could take them down head-on by relying on the doppelganger technique, but he was still somewhat powerless. Yang Wu gave up on the doppelganger technique and merged into one again. He fixed his eyes on Blood Shura, determined to kill him first. Sensing Yang Wu's murderous intent, the Blood Shura was not afraid. He laughed and said, "You are strong, but you are not strong enough to kill me. Have a taste of my blood evil 18 slashes. The Blood Shura was a man who grew up in killing. His murderous aura turned into the body of Azura. He slashed out again and again. The boundless Azura evil chi filled the sky as if it was going to break the world. The Azura Saber Way was evil and overbearing. People with weak willpower would be scared out of their wits. Yang Wu's willpower was like the sea. His fighting soul was extremely strong. He was unmoved. The double blade and triple dragon spear, which contained the power of his martial arts, stabbed out again. The black tortoise and the great river appeared again. Their power continued to rise as they tried to suppress the Blood Shura. Wherever the spear radiance went, the saber radiance was shattered. Many spear radiances were also cut off. The battle was extremely fierce. The dark demon evil priestess and Gao Shanyan also took the opportunity to attack. They were determined to kill Yang Wu together. These demonic path saints could withstand at least 40% of the Star Force. They could explode with power comparable to a saint at the peak. After Yang Wu felt the pressure coming from his left and right, the phoenix sword appeared in his other hand. He laughed and said, "I will use you guys to test my 1 month of hard work." Suddenly, Yang Wu's 5-star tattoos shone brightly. They turned into a rainbow bridge that absorbed the star force from the 9 heavens and descended. The star force was everywhere. It depended on how much of it he could absorb for his own use. Yang Wu was at the 5th-star tattoo realm. His combat power was not inferior to any top-notch saint. When he absorbed the star force, his combat power became even more terrifying. He did not absorb the star force just now. Instead, he used the power of his dantian and body. 80% of the star force broke through the air. A spear and a sword with infinite power attacked from left and right. The white snake vomited blood. The flood dragon came out of the water. Star sword art. Yang Wu's 2 weapons attacked at the same time. The spear's shadow sometimes turned into a white snake and sometimes into a dragon. The tens of thousands of feet long figure wreaked havoc in all directions. The Blood Shura vomited blood and rolled away. There were even several bloody holes on his body. The phoenix profound sword slashed out a starlight. It was as if countless starlights had exploded. The sword chi was tens of thousands of feet long. It continuously slashed Dark Demon Evil Lady and Gao Shan back, leaving deep wounds on their bodies. Why did his combat power explode so much? Blood Shura exclaimed. Is this the power of the battle blood of the battle tribe? He is clearly only at the 5th-star tattoo realm. Dark Demon exclaimed. Feel it. The star force he is absorbing is very powerful, Evil Lady exclaimed. Don't just stand there. Take out all your trump cards. Otherwise, we will be the ones to die, Gao Shan Yin said faintly. He was the first to explode. Giant wolf body. Gao Shan Yan's demonic aura exploded. His body grew taller, as if he had turned into a giant wolf. His blood chi was even more powerful, and his combat power was even more frightening. Kill. After Gao Shan Yin transformed into a giant wolf, he raised his mace and attacked again. This time, he had the combat power of a half-step into the Heavenly Ascension realm. He could only maintain this battle form for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, his realm power would drop, and it would be difficult to recover. There would be very obvious repercussions. Let's fight. Dark Demon and Evil Lady looked at each other. They each took out an elixir and swallowed it. This was the Evil Spirit Elixir. The husband and wife were of the same mind. After taking the Evil Spirit Elixir at the same time, not only were their minds connected, but they could also use soul attacks. The phantoms of skeletons appeared and tried to devour Yang Wu's soul. In addition, they worked together to create the Fierce Claw Field. Their attacks were extremely fierce. Blood Shura also exploded the path of Azura to the peak. His blood chi was extremely vigorous, and his path of slaughter was even more shocking. Yang Wu was extremely excited. He held the spear in one hand and the sword in the other and charged forward. After his physical body reached the peak of the saint physique and was tempered by the power of the stars, his 5 senses were not inferior to the 4 in front of him. His senses were even stronger than theirs. He could see their attacks clearly. He clashed with them head-on. He was not afraid of their joint attack at all. Clang, 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 clang. The sound of weapons clashing could not stop. Many sparks kept spreading out. The battle was incomparably fierce. The demonic saints who had not been killed could not help but exclaim when they saw this scene. Even if this Yong-Wu is an invincible emperor, he should still be in the dragon transformation realm a year ago. Only a year has passed, and he should not have such powerful combat power. It's the Saint transformation pool. He must have reached the celestial rune realm there. How did he reach the 5th level of the celestial rune realm? If he was given another 10 years to grow, wouldn't he be invincible under the Saint realm? No wonder the king of Hell's palace gave out the king of Hell's decree. This boy must die. The more Yong-Wu fought, the braver he became. He displayed the black tortoise's spear Dao and sword Dao to the fullest. He mobilized the power of the stars and attacked left and right. Not only did he block the attacks of the Four-Peak Saints, but he also forced them to retreat. The Four-Peak Saints also attacked without holding back. They condensed the power of a small star, and the area within 100 miles was turned upside down by their attacks. It was not a joke that a peak saint could condense the power of a star. Their saint physique had been tempered by the power of the stars again and again, and they were incomparably compatible with the power of the stars. Even if they only borrowed 30 to 40% of the power of the stars, they could condense their own small star. Yong-Wu's fighting spirit was unparalleled, and his body was amazing. He still crushed the Four-Peak Saints, and they could not get close to him. Kill. With such a crazy battle, the supreme 9 mysteries formula circulated to the limit and absorbed more power of the sky and earth. The power of the stars and sky fell more and more. It had already exceeded 80% of the power he could withstand, and it was moving toward 90%. Blood Shura, Dark Demon Evil Lady, and Gao Shanyan were more and more shocked as they fought. Yong-Wu was like a bottomless pit. He had endless power, and his fighting power was still rising. Even if they were lucky enough to hit Yong-Wu, it did not seem to cause him too much damage. Dark Demon Evil Lady and her husband's soul attacks had always been successful, but in front of Yong-Wu, they were useless. They could not hurt Yong-Wu at all. I will hold him off from the front. You guys work together to kill him from the side, Gao Shanyan shouted decisively. The next moment, he held the Wolf Tooth Club and swung the Sky God skill. Wolf Tooth Cauldron. As the club fell, the power of a small star condensed, and a large amount of Earth Xian Qi rolled in from all directions, forming a giant cauldron that suppressed Yong-Wu. The power of this club was comparable to the power of a half-step sky god. Yong-Wu captured the trajectory of the club, and the double-edged three-dragon spear met the attack like a dragon emerging from the sea. Bang! Gao Shanyan's all-out attack finally pushed Yong-Wu back dozens of feet. Blood Shura and Dark Demon Evil Demon took the opportunity to attack Yong-Wu from both sides. Shura Destruction. Blood Shura and the saber became one, and the Shura Saber Way was at its peak power. With a slash of the saber, tens of thousands of people fell, forming a horrifying river of blood. Dark Demon and Evil Lady worked together to create countless shadows of evil demons, forming a horrifying devil world. Evil demons devour the sky. The chaotic evil demons rushed toward Yong-Wu's god's court, and countless claw shadows tore at Yong-Wu. These ferocious attacks and killing skills were not something even a half-step sky god could block. No matter how fast Yong-Wu's reaction was, he could not completely dodge. Black Tortoise Armor, take it off. Yong-Wu forced out his strongest defense, and the power of his blood boiled to the extreme. The 8 trigrams armor reversed, producing a horrifying power. He waved his 2 weapons, and, as if they had turned into the Tai Chi Dao, he entered a strange defensive Dao. Black Tortoise Armor. Chapter 12:17. The Black Tortoise Armor was a tortoise shell type of defense. It was known as the strongest defensive power within the same level. Yong-Wu had comprehended the Dao of deflection from it, reversing the 8 trigrams pattern on the armor. Not only could it defend against powerful attacks, but could also deflect more of the power of the attacks, achieving a stronger defensive effect. As Yang Wu's cultivation level increased, he became more and more proficient in the way of deflection. However, he still couldn't achieve the 100% effect he wanted. Fortunately, after the trip to Wudong Mountain, he'd comprehended a little bit of the way of Tai Chi. He understood how to combine hardness and softness, how yin and yang interacted, and how to use four tails to pull 1,000 pounds. In a month of training, he understood that the way of deflection was similar to the way of Tai Chi. He'd always wanted to combine the two powers to make the way of deflection more perfect. At this moment, in this extreme battle, he'd forced out his strongest power, attracting more astral power. The black tortoise armor became extremely thick, and the way of deflection was even more terrifying. Even the attacks of top-tier saints couldn't break it. He still wasn't satisfied. The attacks of top-tier saints couldn't break it, but the power of half-step heaven ascension could still penetrate and hurt him. If it weren't for his strong physical body, he would have been injured by the combined attacks of the four. In this state, his soul in the divine court Tao flower kept comprehending the way of Tai Chi and the way of Tai Chi. Finally, they merged together, forming the black tortoise way of deflection. There were 3,000 major paths and thousands of minor paths. Whether it was the black tortoise spear way, the black tortoise sword way, or the black tortoise way of deflection, they all belong to the black tortoise way of deflection. Deflecting force is very similar to the soft force of Taiji. Not only can my black tortoise armor reverse the flow of force, it can also go with the flow. Every defensive force is different. I will use the Tao of Taiji to circulate it, eventually forming my unique defensive Tao. Yang Wu had an epiphany during the battle. The chi flowing in his black tortoise armor was completely different now. In the past, it was simply reversing to generate way of deflection. Now, it was flowing with way of deflection, forming the way of Tai Chi. This was the ultimate secret of the black tortoise way of defense. Bang! Bang bang! The saber light slashed Yang Wu. The wolf tooth club slammed into Yang Wu, and the claws slashed into Yang Wu. They were all half-step into heaven span, and even peak sages would be slaughtered. Yang Wu did not face the attacks head-on. Instead, he focused on guiding the power of the stars and rotating the black tortoise armor. Layers upon layers of saint energy supported the armor, and the 8 trigrams reversed into a Tai Chi diagram, repelling all of the attacks. At this moment, Yang Wu was like a real black tortoise. Even if he sat there cross-legged, no storm, thunder, or lightning could hurt him. What's going on? Gao Shanyan cried out. This guy is comprehending the Tao. Hurry up and interrupt him. This is the best time to kill him. Blood Shura shouted, comprehending the Tao in battle, as expected of a heaven's chosen. What a pity that he's going to fall here today. You guys spread out, I'll kill him. The dark demon shouted out as he took out a black bead and hurled it towards Yang Wu. The dark bead of destruction. This was an explosion-type bead that had been refined with the power of a top-level demon saint core. It was also infused with a large amount of explosive stones. It was a one-time use half-step ascension item. Once hit, even a half-step ascension expert would be killed. Gao Shanyan, Blood Shura, and the dark demon evil lady quickly retreated, not wanting to be caught in the crossfire. Boom! An earth-shattering explosion rang out as a wave of dark demon chi soared into the sky. It condensed into a large mushroom shape and did not dissipate for a long time. Ha! No matter how strong he is, he will still die at the hands of me, the dark demon. The dark demon laughed wildly. Kill those who give the Yama token. Looks like we can join the Yama Palace now. The evil lady also revealed a smile that was uglier than crying. You guys sure are dreaming. A figure slowly walked out and said, surprisingly, it was Yang Wu. He was actually fine, for out of the 5 layers of armor were broken, and the last layer protected him tightly. Moreover, it had once again condensed into 5 layers of armor. Black Tortoise had finally comprehended the unloading Tao. Even the dark pearl of destruction could not hurt him. How was this possible? The few top-tier saints cried out. If it were any of them, even if they were wearing top-tier saint armors, They would not be able to withstand the explosive power of the Dark Pearl of Destruction. Nothing is impossible. Just now, you guys kept on using soul attacks to disturb me. I will kill you first. Yang Wu shouted. 108 demonic needles flew out from the divine court. Swoosh! The demonic needles were wrapped in souls and were almost invisible. They split into two and stabbed out. It was impossible to guard against. The dark demon and the evil lady were proficient in soul power. When the demonic needles stabbed in front of them, they reacted. They did not believe that Yang Wu's soul power could hurt them. Break for me! The dark demon's soul power rippled as he threw out a soul punch. The evil lady also waved her soul claw, trying to catch the demonic needles. Unfortunately, they had underestimated Yang Wu's soul power and overestimated their own. The demonic needles mercilessly pierced through their defense and stabbed into their divine court, severely injuring their souls. The two of them clutched their heads and screamed as they fell from the sky. The power of the demonic needles was shocking. They had to endure dozens of stabs. Even if their souls were not destroyed, their minds would be in a mess. Oh no! Blood Shura saw that the situation was not good. He shouted and frantically retreated. He had already used his Shura Saber Dao, but could not do anything to Yang Wu. If he did not leave now, he would be left behind. Do you think you can leave? Yang Wu shouted coldly. He controlled the demonic needles to stab at Blood Shura, while the nether ice wing blades slashed at Gao Shanyan. Layers of blood armor appeared on Blood Shura. A small star power covered his body to prevent Yang Wu's sneak attack. However, the demonic needles could pass through this power and enter his divine court. Blood Shura followed in the footsteps of the dark demon, evil lady. His soul was severely injured. Gao Shanyan, on the other hand, had more means than them. A broken demon armor appeared on his body, blocking the attack of the nether ice wing blade. It's not that easy to kill me. I'm leaving. Gao Shanyan shouted proudly as he sped up to escape. You think you can come and go as you please? It's not that easy. Yang Wu chased after him. He merged with the double-blade triple dragon spear and turned into the black tortoise. The overwhelming spear shadow stabbed at Gao Shanyan. You can't do anything to me. Gao Shanyan was still very confident. He escaped as fast as he could. At the same time, he activated the power of the broken armor on his body. It was as if he was possessed by a peerless wolf demon. He took him away quickly. At the same time, he shouted, "Evil child, what are you waiting for?" Evil child stood on the mountain peak and looked at everything that was happening on the battlefield. His baby face curled into a cold smile. Yang Wu's combat power is completely unleashed in front of me. He is indeed powerful. If I want to kill him, I have to kill him in one blow. I can't let his invisibility and soul power attack get the upper hand. Evil child didn't make a move. He had been calculating Yang Wu's combat power and thinking of a way to deal with Yang Wu. Yang Wu's nether ice wing blades returned to his body. His speed reached its limit, like a shooting star. It was astonishingly fast. The double-blade, triple dragon spear in his hand stabbed out again. Roar! Black Tortoise roared, his killing intent thick. He broke through layers of space and landed at the back of Gao Shanyan's head. He broke through his opponent's defensive power, and the spearhead pierced through his head, killing him in one blow. Gao Shanyan couldn't accept this fact until he died. His speed was already very fast, and he had a defense comparable to the half-step Tantian godly armor. Yet, he was still caught up by Yang Wu and killed. He died with his eyes wide open. He didn't see that when Yang Wu killed him, the power gathered on his body had condensed into a small star. This was an ability that only a top-notch saint could achieve. Had Yang Wu broken through to become a top-notch saint? Of course not. He had only attracted 100% of the star energy with the strength of a level 5 celestial rune realm cultivator. He had withstood a large amount of star energy and condensed it into a small star energy. The explosive power had reached a new level. It turns out that by absorbing the complete star power, one can condense the power of a star. However, with my current ability, it's still not enough to withstand the power of a star. I have to cultivate diligently to be able to withstand the power of a star for a long time. After Yang Wu killed Gao Shanyan, his face revealed a look of joy as he muttered to himself. He had a better understanding of the use of the star power. The more star power he attracted, the greater his combat power would be. It would be easy for him to fight across realms. He paused for a moment and said, "If my star power continues to grow, will I be able to display the true power of the star and kill all opponents of the same level?" After having this thought, Yang Wu was even more certain that he was right. However, from ancient times until now, it seemed that no one in the Saint realm could withstand the true power of a star, right? How strong must one's will and physical strength be to be able to withstand it? At the moment when Yang Wu was absent-minded, the evil child finally made his move. Evil God Bell, suppress. The evil child struck out a small bell. The evil chi of the bell was astonishing. Countless babies were crying. They had just been born and did not know good or evil. They did not understand reason. Their blood and chi were swallowed by the evil bell to nourish the evil spirit and become an extremely evil demonic bell. This was the life weapon of the evil child. It had been condensed by him to the level of half-step Tong Tian. It was infinitely close to a divine bell. Once he broke through to half-step Tong Tian, it would definitely become a divine bell. After the evil child poured his power into it, the evil God Bell became very large and produced a terrifying suction force. Countless babies were pulling Yang Wu. They cried very sadly and pitifully. It touched the most sympathetic chord in the depths of Yang Wu's heart. The primordial mystic essence Qi in Yang Wu's body produced a sense of resonance. His divine court Tao flower deduced an inexplicable memory. It was a mountain prison. Countless children were brought to a deep pit filled with blood and evil Qi. An evil person swallowed all of their primordial essences. Countless blood and Qi became nourishment for the evil person. He is the evil child king of the Wolf Smoke Mountain Prison. He has swallowed so many babies. He really has no humanity. He really deserves to die. Yang Wu roared angrily as he watched this scene. Chapter 12:18. Yang Wu never thought of himself as a good person. However, watching newborn babies being devoured and refined by the evil child, that kind of inhumane behavior really touched his bottom line. Some things could be done, and some things could not be done. What was the difference between the evil child's behavior and that of the devil race? "I will destroy you." Yang Wu faced the evil God Bell, put away all the combat weapons, and unleashed all his strength to attack the evil God Bell. Yang Wu pushed the martial god fist to the limit, and the path of true martial arts appeared. Every punch contained earth-shattering power, and when they hit the evil God Bell, earth-shattering sounds rang out. Dong dong. The evil scene released by the evil God Bell was destroyed by Yang Wu's punches, but the evil God Bell would not be destroyed so easily. The evil child stepped on the top of the bell and controlled the evil God Bell to continue suppressing Yang Wu. The evil God Bell grew bigger, and the space was enveloped by it. Endless evil energy floated in the bell, containing an extremely terrifying corrosive power. The evil energy kept corroding people's flesh and soul. The two-pronged attack had an astonishing lethality. "I will kill you," evil child shouted with a smile like an innocent child. Then, a look of greed appeared on his face. Such an exuberant physique, and it seems to have the chi of the primordial child. It must be an amazing physique. After I refine it, my strength will definitely improve. Bang! Yang Wu could not send the evil God Bell flying, and was finally suppressed by it. After the evil God Bell enveloped Yang Wu, it began to shrink. The terrifying evil chi continued to envelop Yang Wu's body. This kind of power could easily turn a top-tier saint into a pool of blood. Even if Yang Wu had a top-tier saint robe's defense, he wouldn't be able to withstand it. Yang Wu possessed the immortal body and had refined the dragon-killing chi. Hence, it was not difficult for him to resist the evil-killing chi. Even if the evil-killing chi invaded his divine court, his fighting soul would be able to defend against it. However, it would not be able to hold on for long, as the evil-killing chi was too dense. The corrosive qi was much more terrifying than what Yang Wu had encountered before. Refine the baleful aura to temper the body. Yang Wu was also a daring expert. He circulated the supreme 9 profound arts to absorb the corrosive qi. His tough meridians were almost unable to withstand it. Fortunately, he was able to withstand it. When the power entered his dantian, it was quickly converted into pure energy and fell into his dantian. Break! Yang Wu brandished the martial god's fist and pushed the power of his fist to the limit. His fist was filled with the power of "I am the best" as it landed on the wall of the bell, causing the bell to ring. It's still not enough. Activate it at full power. Yang Wu roared and operated the supreme 9 mysteries formula to the limit. The power of his dantian was completely drawn out, and the power of the stars above the 9th heaven was drawn in. Above his fist, 100% of the power of the stars was condensed. It was as if the power of a small star appeared on his body. His fist once again blasted out. Bang, bang. The power of each punch was enough to kill a peak saint. It could even challenge a half-step Tongtian. Such power could destroy a mountain range, but it still couldn't destroy the evil god bell. The evil god bell kept shrinking and continued to suppress Yang Wu. If Yang Wu couldn't withstand it, even if he wasn't killed by the corrosive qi, he would be directly turned into a pool of blood by the evil god bell. Fortunately, the evil child didn't want to turn Yang Wu into a pool of blood. He still wanted to suck Yang Wu's blood energy. Therefore, as long as Yang Wu was seriously injured, he could release him and refine Yang Wu. Yang Wu was squeezed in the space of the evil god bell. He continued to attack crazily. Even the baleful dragon aura was forced out. The fist energy he unleashed became more and more powerful. However, it was still a little lacking if he wanted to shatter the half-step Tongtian divine weapon that contained divine iron. After venting, Yang Wu stopped and didn't continue to attack. He also felt that the evil god bell didn't shrink anymore. He continued to use the corrosive qi to refine his body and strive to make his body stronger. If my current fleshly body is comparable to that of a pinnacle sage, or even a half-step in a heavenly ascension, I can break this evil god bell with one punch. Yang Wu thought to himself. At this moment, he increasingly understood the importance of a sacred body. In the future, he still had to continue to refine his body and become stronger. In fact, his body had already far surpassed other warriors of the same level. If he continued to become stronger, he would break the limit and reach an even more terrifying stage. He was thinking, if there's a second stage for talent power, then is there a second stage for physical potential? Thinking of this, his heart beat extremely fast. He felt that there must be such a possibility. After the evil child didn't feel Yang Wu's aura, he muttered to himself, "It seems that he can't take it anymore. It's time to enjoy his body." The evil child slowly pulled out the evil god bell. He was very cautious and controlled the evil god bell at all times. As long as he found something wrong, he would suppress Yang Wu again. Die! Yang Wu had been waiting for an opportunity to act. When the evil child opened a little of the evil god bell, he didn't delay any longer. The Big Dipper sword appeared and directly slashed out with an earth-shattering move. Bang! The Big Dipper sword was a true divine weapon. Its power was astonishing. It broke the evil god bell with one slash and injured the evil child, almost splitting him in half. No, impossible. You actually destroyed my divine weapon. The evil child roared as he retreated. Blood spurted out from his mouth. The evil god bell was a divine weapon that he had nurtured. If it was destroyed, he would also be implicated. Not only will I destroy your divine weapon, but I will also cut you into pieces, Yang Wu said as he stared fiercely at the evil child. In the next moment, he took out the sky-catching net and enveloped the evil child. The sky-catching net covered a part of the world. Even the evil child couldn't escape. The evil child's strength was astonishing. He screamed and escaped to the ground. The sky-catching net fell and bound a part of the ground. It didn't catch the evil child. The evil child had already burrowed into the ground and disappeared. Yang Wu didn't expect the evil child to have the ability to burrow into the ground. It wouldn't be easy to find him. Such a divine ability was usually only possessed by a foreign race. It was extremely rare for a human to have it. Just as Yang Wu was about to meet up with Little Hay and the silver-patterned turtle, a force broke out of the ground and shot in his direction. Evil Soul Blood Arrow. The arrow was refined by the evil child using the demon god's divine bone and the heart blood of countless babies. It formed a true divine arrow. It was not a true arrow feather. It was like a hidden weapon that broke out of the ground. It was incomparably swift and contained an extremely domineering blood poison. Yang Wu reacted quickly, but he was still half a beat too slow. He was grazed by the evil soul blood arrow, and a piece of flesh was taken away. An extremely evil force invaded his body. In the past, Yang Wu was immune to all poisons. He was never afraid of anything evil. However, it was different this time. The evil force contained in the arrow went straight into the god's court. Even his fighting soul was affected. It was as if countless babies' resentment had enveloped his god's court and crazily entangled his soul. His bloodline power seemed to have been injected with a unique evil blood that was also devouring his bloodline power. It must be known that Yang Wu's fighting soul and bloodline power were extremely powerful. How could an ordinary evil force invade his body? The evil soul blood arrow that the evil child unleashed this time had truly injured Yang Wu's foundation. He didn't dare to move recklessly. He could only urge his blood chi to resist the fighting soul and try his best to get these evil things out. The evil child rushed out from the ground again. You've been hit by my evil soul blood arrow. I'll see how you die this time. If anyone dies, you'll die first. Yang Wu's resistance was still far superior to that of an ordinary person. When the evil child reappeared, he urged all his strength to slash at the evil child again. The evil child had never expected that Yang Wu still had strength left. When the sword slashed at him, he couldn't dodge in time and was directly cut in half. You destroyed one of my bodies. I'll refine your body. The evil child was still alive. His soul was still there. It condensed into his appearance and pounced at Yang Wu. This time, Yang Wu really didn't have the strength to kill the evil child. He could only watch as the evil child's soul rushed into his god's court. The evil child's soul power was also extremely abnormal. Even though he had lost his body, he still had a very powerful soul power. When he entered Yang Wu's god's court, he discovered the path flower with 10 petals and a condensed soul. He was overjoyed. What saintly body! It's mine now. The evil child's soul unleashed countless evil baby faces that tried to devour Yang Wu's war soul. Originally, the power of the evil soul's blood arrow was enough to make Yang Wu suffer. Coupled with the evil child's soul attack, he was in danger. Yang Wu sensed the danger he was in and didn't dare to be careless. He quickly drew on the wisp of immortal chi on the immortal peach tree. This wisp of immortal chi was much stronger than before. It had devoured a lot of the power Yang Wu had cultivated over the years. When Yang Wu used it, it was not stingy in returning the favor. The immortal chi was indeed a special power that transcended the world. When it entered his meridians and blood chi, the chaotic evil power quickly retreated. It could no longer affect Yang Wu's blood chi. After the evil power was forced out, Yang Wu's war soul had no more worries. It could finally fight the evil child head-on. You want my body? You won't be able to do it even in your next life. Yang Wu roared. All of his soul power erupted. A ferocious soul fist exploded. Countless baby faces were shattered. The god's court path flower was also closing, not giving the evil child a chance to use any more evil moves. Impossible. You've been hit by my evil soul's blood arrow. How can you still resist? The evil child let out a cry of disbelief. He used a devouring technique, wanting to completely devour Yang Wu's soul power. He even wanted to devour the god's court path flower. His appetite was really big. Explode. Under the effect of the immortal chi, Yang Wu eliminated all of the evil power. His war soul was extremely powerful. The ferocious soul fist directly destroyed the evil child's soul. Yang Wu, I won't let you go. Chapter 12:19. The evil child had died. This was not his main body, but a doppelganger. Furthermore, It was a doppelganger that contained a soul. When Yang Wu learned of the situation, he was completely stunned. There were many doppelganger techniques in the world, but there were very few doppelgangers that could condense a soul. The evil child was able to cultivate such a doppelganger. He did not know if it was because of his innate ability or because he cultivated an evil art. In short, it brought quite a shock to Yang Wu. In addition, the evil soul blood arrow had a great impact on him. He had always thought that he had an immortal body and could be fearless of the poisonous aura in the world. Only now did he realize that he had underestimated everyone in the world. His immortal body was not truly immortal. There were still powers that could threaten him. Once a power that surpassed immortal aura appeared, only death would await him. It seems that the progress I thought I had made was just a dream to comfort myself. I still need to become stronger. Creating the strongest sacred body will be my next goal. Yang Wu made up his mind. With the death of the evil child, the other demonic cultivators had already fled. The silver-patterned turtle came to Yang Wu's side. He had been beaten very badly. His turtle shell had cracked, and his injuries were extremely serious. However, he still had an unyielding will and a strong murderous aura. He was truly a natural combat demon. Yang Wu took out a second-grade immortal liquid for him to soak in. His injuries quickly healed, and his strength increased by a lot. If he continued to train like this, it would not be long before he could break through to a higher realm. In fact, he could break through now if he wanted to, but Little Hay did not allow him to. He had to continue building his foundation and condense his bloodline power in order to become a real black tortoise in the future. In Little Hay's eyes, the silver-patterned turtle's bloodline power was too weak. If he did not build a good foundation, it would be even more difficult for him to become a black tortoise in the future. It would be even more difficult than Yang Jinlong. Yang Jinlong's bloodline was much better than the silver-patterned turtles. When he was still in his egg, he had absorbed the blood fiend mystic essence with Yang Wu. Only then was he able to break out of his shell and be born. His foundation was much stronger than an ordinary spirit demon. The silver-patterned turtle's strength was that he had the will to admit defeat. He also had the determination to break through to the peak of spirit demon. He could endure hardships. This was also the reason why Little Hay was willing to train him. The silver-patterned turtle had just fought with the other demonic path saints and displayed an impressive combat prowess, killing 3 primary demonic path saints. If it weren't for the fact that there were other demonic path saints with a higher cultivation than him, he would have been able to continue killing them. Little Hay, take a look at the power of this arrow. Even my immortal body cannot withstand it. If I didn't have a trace of immortal energy in my body, I would have died without a doubt. Yang Wu took the evil soul blood arrow and placed it in front of Little Hay. Little Hay's eyes jumped and her nose twitched. She immediately said, "This arrow was refined from a demon god bone using 108 different poisonous gases, as well as the souls and blood essence of 10,000 infants. No wonder it could break through your immortal body. The souls of infants originally belonged to the souls of their predecessors. After fusing with these poisonous gases, it became an extremely evil and poisonous power. Once it invaded a person's blood energy and soul, it could quickly poison them to death. Even a heaven-reaching false divinity would not be able to easily expel it." After Yang Wu heard the refinement method of this evil soul blood arrow, he angrily said, "These evil demons should be killed. How could they have the heart to not even spare infants?" There is a clear distinction between good and evil in this world. Some creatures are born good, and some creatures are born evil. This is also known as yin-yang good and evil. This evil child's methods are just child's play. It is not uncommon for a true god-level creature to refine 100,000 or even 1,000,000 lives into blood energy. Little Hay faintly said, "Is there no justice in this world? Fists and shit are justice. When you have enough strength, you can intimidate the heroes, and such evil things will rarely happen. If you don't have enough strength, you might even become food in the mouths of others. This is the world of survival. When I become the strongest in the future, I will definitely change this world. Haha, your ambition is praiseworthy. Unfortunately, you're still far from it. After talking with Little Hay for a while, Yang Wu gradually calmed down. He then asked Little Hay if there was a way to activate the second stage of the body tempering method. Woof woof. You have finally realized the importance of the physical body. Don't think that you are invincible just because you have cultivated to a certain level. You're still far from it. Little Hay excitedly barked twice in response. Then it seriously said, from a moment you entered the Saint realm and received the refinement of the star patterns, you have actually entered the second stage of the body's potential. If you can borrow the power of the stars and refine your body again and again, you'll form the sacred star body. Only then will you have truly reached the perfect realm. What is the sacred star body? Yang Wu humbly asked. The sacred star body is when the body bears the power of a star and transforms into a star to unleash endless power. Does my current state count as bearing the power of a star? What a joke. You're just like those other sage experts. You've only condensed the power of one star seed, and you think that it's the power of one star. It's only 1/10,000th of the power of one star. Yi Shiwen laughed. Then what should I do to bear the power of a star and transform into a star? Body tempering, body tempering, body tempering, body tempering, soul tempering, body tempering, body tempering, soul tempering, body tempering, soul tempering, body tempering, soul tempering, body tempering, soul 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 tempering. Yang Wu learned many secrets that he had never heard of before. Some cultivation methods were not even recorded in the inheritance of the Yang family ancestors. It was as if a new window had been opened in his divine court. He understood that the path of cultivation was still long and arduous. This was especially so when he thought of what the supreme guardian of Wudong had mentioned before. The transcendent realm was just one of the realms on Earthstar. There were even more powerful realms, such as the legendary heavenly realm. The living beings there might be, just as Xiaohe had said. They were powerful beings who had cultivated to the extreme. He also thought that Little Hay might be a creature that had descended from the divine realm. Otherwise, how could it know so much? Yang Wu sat cross-legged on the silver patterned tortoise. As he rushed to Thunder Mountain, he continued to communicate with Little Hay to learn more about the secrets he wanted to know. Yang Wu had already reached the celestial rune realm. Little Hay was also willing to tell Yang Wu some secrets. In another world, some people were born with divine or divine bodies. They had unparalleled talent in cultivation. They could become saints at the age of 10 and gods before they were 100 years old. Some people were born with boundless strength and could destroy a world. Some people were born with medicinal bodies and could refine all kinds of elixirs. There were also people who were born with 10 kinds of innate divine abilities and were considered the children of gods and demons. These creatures who were born with outstanding talents were many times more powerful than the people of the transcendent realm. Meanwhile, people like Yang Wu at his age and cultivation level could only be considered as ordinary geniuses. They could not even be considered as prodigies. Therefore, Yang Wu still did not have the time to be arrogant. After Yang Wu heard this, he was extremely shocked. It was hard to imagine how monstrous those creatures were. What kind of world was that? The silver-patterned tortoise on Yang Wu was also extremely shocked. Its strength was far inferior to Yang Wu's. If it went to the world that Little Hay spoke of, would it still have a chance to survive? It was likely that it would become food on the plate of others. It seems that I have to work harder, the silver-patterned tortoise thought to itself. Soon, they finally arrived at the most famous Thunder Mountain in the Kunlun realm. This Thunder Mountain was densely covered with heavenly thunder all year round. It contained an extremely rich power of thunder and lightning. It was a cultivation paradise for thunder warriors. The Purple Cloud Palace had once thought of making this mountain the location of a branch palace. However, after sending out powerful figures to explore it, they finally retreated. This Thunder Mountain contained unknown dangers. Ordinary warriors could only cultivate in the periphery. Once they went deep inside, it was almost a situation of death. This was also known as the Thunder Mountain Forbidden Area. Yang Wu was on his way to the Thunder Mountain to refine his heavenly thunderbone again. After listening to Little Hei's description of the power of the other world, he was even more determined to cultivate in this Thunder Mountain. Even if he did not specialize in the power of thunder and lightning, he had to cultivate the Nine Thunders reshaping technique to the great success stage. When they arrived nearby, they saw a purple divine mountain towering in front of them from afar. It occupied a large area, and purple lightning flashed from time to time. It looked like a purple lightning snake, but it also looked like a divine thunder creature. It was really unpredictable. There was once a powerful cultivator of the heaven-reaching realm who did not want to believe in the terror contained in this Thunder Mountain. He wanted to cultivate a powerful thunder body and forcefully charge to the peak of the Thunder Mountain. In the end, he was blasted into dust in front of everyone. Little Hei stared at the Thunder Mountain. A trace of light flashed in her eyes as she said, "I didn't expect there to be such a divine mountain. It seems that back then, something really fell into the mortal world." "Little Hei, what are you talking about?" Yang Wu asked in return. "Nothing. This time, I might be cultivating here for a period of time. I'll take the opportunity to undo a trace of my seal. You and Little Silver can leave after you're done cultivating. I'll look for you after I'm done," Little Hei said seriously. "Little Hei, is there something you need on this mountain?" Yang Wu asked again. "Maybe there is." Little Hei did not dare to be sure. After a pause, she said, "Your immortal immortality peach tree has already grown a tree spirit. The energy here is very beneficial to it. Maybe you can borrow its energy and go deeper. But remember, do not reach the peak. You will be reduced to ashes." Yang Wu rarely saw Little Hei so serious. This proved that the Thunder Mountain really contained some great terror. They arrived at the foot of the Thunder Mountain and saw many martial artists coming and going. Most of them were martial artists who cultivated the power of thunder. They could sense it from the purple aura they released. When Yang Wu approached, a few martial artists with ill intentions rode on spirit beasts and surrounded him. "Little brother, are you going to enter the Thunder Mountain to cultivate?" The man in the lead asked with a trace of evil aura. "That's right. That's great. You can enter after paying 100,000 Xian stones." Chapter 12:20. Where there were people, there would be rivers and lakes. Thunder Mountain contained the power of all kinds of lightning seeds. Regardless of whether it was the older generation of lightning cultivators or the younger generation of lightning cultivators, they would all come to Thunder Mountain from time to time. These lightning cultivators all had their own fortuitous encounters. Some obtained lightning-type spirit medicines and sacred medicines, some refined lightning seeds, and some even awakened lightning divine abilities. It was because of this that the lightning cultivators of the transcendent world called this place the sacred land of lightning cultivators, and not the forbidden Thunder Mountain that others spoke of. With so many people coming and going, there would naturally be some daring people. These people specifically came to collect the mountain entrance fee from the warriors who cultivated near Thunder Mountain. The so-called fee to enter the mountain was nothing more than a forced fee, a trick of robbery. If there was a disagreement, they would even kill someone to steal their wealth. These people were all observant. If they encountered a powerful lightning cultivator, they would not dare to act rashly. They would only attack the fat sheep that looked like they could handle. Yang Wu brought two demonic beasts. One was a silver-patterned tortoise that looked extremely fierce, and the other was a Little Hei hound that was ignored by others. For a lone martial cultivator like this, no matter how strong they would not exceed the Star Mark realm. They would only target warriors who were in the Dragon Transformation realm or below. The 8 people in front of him were members of the Thunder Gang. The Thunder Gang was one of the strongest forces near Thunder Mountain. They had a saint overseeing it and had 3,000 lightning cultivators under them. It was a gang formed by many scum lightning cultivators. Yang Wu did not understand the situation in Thunder Mountain, but he had experienced many things. When he was heading to the Hidden Heaven domain, He had passed through a desolate area and captured the Hong Mo and Hong Ing couple alive. He could tell at a glance that these people in front of him were plunderers. An imperceptible sneer flashed across his face as he said, "Brothers, I'm just passing by to take a look. There's no need to pay a fee, right?" Ha! Thunder Mountain is a private, restricted area. It's not a place where you can come and go as you please. Hurry up and take out 100,000 profound stones. Otherwise, I'll rob you of everything. The man who just opened his mouth laughed wildly. He paused for a moment, looked at Yang Wu up and down, and said, "Look at your soft and tender skin. Not bad at all. Our vice leader happens to like pretty boys like you. Why don't you accompany our vice leader for a few nights? If he's satisfied, he might let you stay in Thunder Mountain for a few days." Someone at the side winked and said, Yes, the vice gang leader likes this kind of handsome guy the most. As long as you serve him well, anything can be discussed." "Is your vice leader pretty?" Yang Wu asked. "Haha, our vice sect leader looks wise and mighty." The man who had just spoken laughed wildly. Yang Wu's face darkened as he shouted, "Scram!" As his voice fell, the 8 people nearby only felt the sound of thunder exploding in their ears. It shook their souls and caused them to bleed from their 7 orifices. They fell to the ground on the spot. They all looked at Yang Wu in horror. They couldn't understand how a 16-year-old youth could have such terrifying power. Could he be a saint who had regained his youth? Saint sound technique. This was a saint's ability. With Yang Wu's current ability, he could already issue an imperial edict. His every word and action contained boundless saint power. These people in front of him were only in the dragon transformation realm. It would be easy for him to kill them. His shout was just to teach them a lesson. He believed that after they were injured, there would be many people who would come down the mountain to kill them. With his strength as a saint, it would be lowering his status to kill these people. Just as he was about to fly to Thunder Mountain, another saint's sound rang out. "Who dares to harm my Thunder Gang's disciples?" A saint flew over on a thunder condor. This person looked mighty and majestic. He carried a thunder battle blade on his back. His eyes were like lightning, and his saint chi was shocking. He was a level 3 astral pattern realm expert. He was the vice leader of the Thunder Gang, Che Mingfeng. There were many Thunder Gang members nearby, but not many of them were in the saint realm. Che Mingfeng's strength was already the vice leader of the Thunder Gang. After Che Mingfeng arrived, the Thunder Gang members also quickly flew over from all directions. In the blink of an eye, more than 100 people had gathered. Yang Wu flashed a look of surprise. "These raiders are really bold. Haven't they touched an iron plate before?" Yang Wu didn't know. It wasn't that they hadn't touched a metal plate before, but that those martial arts cultivators who cultivated the power of thunder all had backgrounds. If they wanted to come to Thunder Mountain to cultivate, they would have to obtain a token from their sect. The Thunder Gang members wouldn't mess with people they couldn't afford to mess with. Who would attack without a word like him? "Kid, you got some guts. You dare hurt a member of our Thunderbolt Gang? Hurry up and tell us your name. Let's see if our Thunderbolt Gang can afford to offend you." Che Mingfeng shouted at Yang Wu in a condescending manner. Yang Wu couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with him. He patted the silver-striped turtle and said, "Little Silver, I'll leave them to you." "Master, don't worry. I'll eat them." The silver-striped turtle wiped away its ferocity and shouted, charging towards Che Mingfeng. Overlord Fist. The silver-striped turtle had also comprehended the essence of fist intent. Even if it hadn't comprehended the way of Black Tortoise, its natural domineering demonic power was extraordinary. "Demonic Saint." Che Mingfeng's eyes twitched as he exclaimed. Then he shouted with a fierce expression, "If you don't tell us your name, we'll kill you for nothing. Kill them." Xian Mingfeng was in charge of the people entering the mountain. Naturally, he wouldn't give way so easily. Since they weren't willing to tell us their names, then we'll just have to fight. Che Mingfeng wasn't weak either. Especially before entering the Thunder Mountains, he had the strength to fight against a mid-tier saint. His lightning arts could draw on the dense lightning energy here to fight. He shattered the silver-striped turtle's fist energy, but the silver-striped turtle took the opportunity to close in. A ray of blue light shot out from its mouth and pierced towards him. Just as Che Mingfeng was about to destroy the blue blade, it suddenly changed direction and stabbed towards his mount, the thunderballed eagle. Oh, the thunderballed eagle was also a demonic saint. Unfortunately, its battle strength couldn't compare to the silver-striped turtle. It couldn't dodge the silver-striped turtle's blue blade, and a large bloody hole appeared in its abdomen. "How dare you? Today, I'll kill you and eat you." Che Foam was furious. He erupted with a powerful battle strength and began to fight the silver-striped turtle. Yang Wu and Little Hay were ignored by him. In his opinion, that young man and Little Hay had no ability. They definitely dared to come to the Thunder Mountains because of this demonic saint's protection. At this time, Yang Wu and Little Hay had already disappeared. The Thunder Gang members didn't know where they went. These people have done many evil things. Little Silver, don't hold back. Yang Wu transmitted his voice to the silver-striped turtle as he was about to step into the Thunder Mountains. "Yes, master." The silver-striped turtle replied excitedly. It could finally go on a killing spree. The silver-striped turtle's body contained a primitive evil chi. Perhaps it was this evil chi that kept it moving forward. At the foot of the Thunder Mountains, there were streaks of lightning energy. Anyone who stepped on this place would be struck by lightning. Ordinary people couldn't even get close to this place, especially on the 15th of every month. When the lightning energy would descend, even Dragon Transformation Realm cultivators wouldn't dare to get close. Yang Wu stepped on these streaks of lightning, feeling the faint traces of lightning energy. He couldn't help but exclaim, "The lightning energy here is enough for any Earth-Sea Realm cultivator to absorb. It's really a magical place." Several years ago, when Yang Wu entered the Heavenly Palace, there was an area with purple clouds of lightning. There, Yang Wu had tempered his heavenly lightning bone. After that, he had used the lightning energy from refining pills to temper his body. Other than that, he had never come to a place like the Thunder Mountains to cultivate. He mainly cultivated water-type, profound chi. The lightning energy was only because he had cultivated the 9 lightning body tempering technique, condensed the heavenly lightning bone, and awakened his innate talent, which allowed him to use the lightning energy. Little Wu, you have to make good use of the lightning here to temper your soul. When your soul is strong enough, you can refine divine pills. You have a divine weapon on you, so it won't be a problem for you to walk halfway up the mountain. Remember, don't go to the peak. Otherwise, this Celestial Emperor won't be able to save you. After Little Hay reminded Yang Wu, she quickly rushed into the Thunder Mountains and quickly disappeared in front of Yang Wu's eyes. Not long after, Little Hay's voice sounded out again. "Little Wu, you have to walk your own path. Cultivate and comprehend more. Walk a path of invincibility that belongs to you. This Celestial Emperor has high hopes for you." This time, Little Hay completely disappeared. Yang Wu clenched his fists and muttered, "Little Hay, don't worry. I won't let you down." In the next moment, he also strode towards the Thunder Mountains. Circulating the supreme 9 profound formula, strands of lightning energy entered his body. This kind of low-level lightning energy couldn't hurt him and could only nourish his dantian. It didn't even have the qualifications to temper his bones. Yang Wu wasn't in a hurry. He wanted to climb step by step and slowly adapt to the environment here. Moreover, he could use the lightning energy here to enhance the electric fork's aura. Just as Little Hay said, cultivating and comprehending more was the path he should take. The Thunder Mountains were filled with the power of lightning. Every flower, every blade of grass, and every tree contained the power of lightning. They survived by devouring the power of lightning and contained enough lightning energy to mutate. Yang Wu carefully looked at the flowers, grass, and trees. He released his 5 senses to the maximum and sensed the place, looking for a suitable point to comprehend. Not long after, a lightning tiger rushed out and bit at Yang Wu angrily. Yang Wu didn't make a move. He only glared at the lightning tiger. The lightning tiger immediately curled up like a kitten and lay on the ground. It didn't dare to approach Yang Wu at all. It begged, "Please forgive me, sage." Yang Wu ignored it and continued to walk up the mountain. The power of lightning is everywhere. The aura of lightning is everywhere. Every flower, grass, tree, mountain, and rock is lightning. Thunder can roar, lightning can flash, heaven can crack, and earth can be destroyed. Lightning is merciless, and so is the heavenly Tao. My aura is based on the heavenly thunderbone, and heaven and earth are the prison. I control heaven and earth. Everything is lightning, and I destroy all life. The Tao of lightning is also the Tao of punishment. It punishes on behalf of the heavens. It is righteous and righteous. Chapter 12:21. The Thunder Mountain was covered with thunder and lightning. The power of thunder and lightning would strike down from the sky from time to time. It looked very spectacular. The young man was wearing a hidden robe. He walked up the Thunder Mountain step by step. The power of thunder and lightning lingered on his body. Not only did it not cause any harm to him, but it also turned into thunder serpents that swam around him. It seemed that he was very happy. These thunder serpents gathered more and more. They gradually formed a thunder and lightning aura. This aura continued to expand from the original range of 15 meters. It continued to expand. 30 meters, 150 meters, 200 meters. It reached a range of 10 miles in a few blinks of an eye. The aura of 10 miles was very spectacular. However, it was still too small for a Sage Realm creature. The range of a Sage Realm creature's control was calculated in hundreds or thousands of miles. The young man in front of him did not control such a large range of aura. He seemed to have fallen into a state of enlightenment. Every step he took was very slow. However, the thunder and lightning aura became incomparably solid after every step. The thunder and lightning aura became more powerful. Those thunder serpents also became bigger and bigger. In addition, the thunder and lightning aura was also constantly changing. It seemed as if it was deducing an ancient thunderbolt. The god of thunder and the goddess of lightning were punishing on behalf of the heavens. Bursts of thunder shook the world and deterred the evildoers of the world. The electric forks spurted out lightning and killed the ancient devils. The electric forks in the young man's body flickered incessantly. Electric forks flew out of his bones and formed an electric forks aura. This was Yang Wu's electric forks aura. Each electric forks carried an astonishing power of thunder and lightning. They were like divine electric forks with clear rewards and punishments. They would eliminate all evildoers with one strike. Yang Wu took big strides and walked up the Thunder Mountain with this aura. The Thunder Mountain towered into the clouds. The body of the mountain was incomparably huge. A person standing on a mountain looked like an ant crawling on it. It would take 10 days to half a month to reach the top of the mountain if one did not fly. Yang Wu condensed his electric fork aura field and entered a state of Tao enlightenment. He walked faster and faster, and more lightning gathered in his electric fork aura field. Ordinary lightning, scarlet fire lightning, golden snake lightning, purple cloud lightning, black demon lightning. All kinds of lightning appeared and fell into Yang Wu's electric forked aura, becoming the power of Yang Wu's electric forked aura. This was the Tao of lightning that Yang Wu had comprehended. It allowed him to transform all lightning into his own, using his body as lightning to temper every part of his body. The black demon lightning was a type of lightning energy that was even more terrifying than the purple cloud thunder. It only appeared halfway up the mountain, and each bolt could make a saint-level creature suffer unspeakably. It could even easily kill a saint-level creature. Fortunately, the black devil lightning was the lightning that nourished the Thunder Mountains, and not the raw lightning that struck down from the sky. If it was the raw lightning that just struck down, even a peak Sage Realm creature would not be able to withstand it. Yang Wu climbed halfway up the mountain in one breath, and his eyes gradually became much clearer. He sighed softly and said, "I've comprehended another martial Tao. There were 3,000 great Taos and thousands of minor Taos. Each Tao contained extraordinary power. Ordinary warriors would only cultivate one type of martial Tao in order to reach the extreme of this martial Tao and become more powerful. Even the most monstrous of geniuses would not choose more than two types of martial Tao. If there were too many types of martial Tao, they were afraid that if they did not have the heart to cultivate to the extreme, the power they could unleash would be limited. Now, Yang Wu had the Tao of life and death, the Tao of death, the Tao of alchemy, the Jinwu boxing, the Tao of Taiji, the black tortoise sword Tao, the star-swallowing sword Tao, the black tortoise spear Tao, the black tortoise offense Tao, and the Tao of lightning. There were a total of 10 types of martial Tao. If this news were to spread, who knew how many creatures would be scared to death? Many geniuses of the human clan wanted to comprehend one type of martial Tao, but could not. However, he had actually comprehended 10 types of martial Tao. How could others survive? If other powerful figures knew about this situation, they would definitely persuade Yang Wu to only cultivate one type of martial Tao that was most suitable for him. There was no need to waste time on other types of martial Tao. If it were in the past, Yang Wu might have thought the same. He also did not expect to comprehend so many types of martial Tao. Who asked him to have such an abnormal perception? He easily comprehended the martial Tao that others pursued but could not in their lifetime. This was not his original intention. However, since he had already comprehended it, he would not give up again. Before coming to Thunder Mountain, he had a conversation with Little Hay. He knew that there were even more terrifying geniuses in the higher realms. Those people were born with the potential to cultivate martial Tao. It was normal for them to cultivate multiple types of martial Tao. As long as they had enough perception, they could cultivate multiple types of martial Tao at the same time. Only when they integrated all the types of martial Tao in the future could they become the strongest God-level warrior. This was also the reason why Yang Wu did not deliberately avoid comprehending other types of martial Tao. If possible, he also wanted to comprehend fire-type martial Tao in the future. He even wanted to comprehend brute force martial Tao, wind martial Tao, and so on. As long as he could cultivate, it would be best if he could enter the martial Tao. He learned from Little Hay that there were higher types of martial Tao. Martial Tao was just a basic starting point. It would not affect the speed of his cultivation at all. Moreover, in the general direction, the Death Tao had been integrated by him into the Life and Death Tao. It could be considered as a type of martial Tao. The black tortoise sword Tao, spear Tao, and discharge Tao could also be considered as a type of black tortoise Tao. In addition to the pill Tao, Jinwu boxing Tao, Tai Chi Tao, star-swallowing sword Tao, and thunder Tao, there were a total of 7 types of martial Tao. Roar. Suddenly, the roar of a beast rang out. A domineering power of thunder and lightning blasted in his direction. This power of thunder and lightning had just approached Yang Wu's electric fork aura when it was blocked by the electric fork aura. Yang Wu looked in that direction and found that it was a thunder beast. Thunder beasts were ferocious beasts that were born by absorbing heavenly thunder. They looked very strange. They had the head of an ox, the body of a tiger, the claws of a lion, and the hair of a horse. They were covered in scales. The power of thunder and lightning lingered around their bodies. They could erupt with astonishing power at any time. They also had the talent to summon thunder and lightning. This thunder beast was not a threat to Yang Wu at all. What made Yang Wu feel pressured was that he seemed to have entered the thunder beast territory. Thunder beasts rushed out from all directions. Once these thunder beasts erupted, they would definitely attract heavenly thunder. This was not something that ordinary saints could withstand. Brother, don't mess around. I'm just passing by. Yang Wu had no intention of making an enemy of the thunder beast. He said weakly, "Roar, roar." The thunder beasts did not have intelligence. They were very ferocious. They did not care whether Yang Wu was passing by or not. They would kill anyone who came close to their territory. They roared, and the power of thunder and lightning bombarded Yang Wu. "You're forcing me to kill." Yang Wu sighed softly. His finger bones flicked, and a finger light broke through the air and hit the thunder beasts. Lightning finger. When Yang Wu comprehended the Tao of thunder, the power of his lightning finger was like a real bolt of lightning. His attack was extremely fast and contained an earth-shattering power. A few thunder beasts were hit by the lightning finger and were sent flying. The other thunder beasts rushed over crazily. They seemed to be fighting Yang Wu with no regard for their lives. In fact, they were constantly gathering the power of thunder and lightning around them, especially the wisps of black demon thunder. Every wisp could be refined into the power of the black demon seed. They contained extremely shocking power. After the black demon thunder poured into their bodies, their power became even more terrifying. ZZ. The black demon thunder condensed into a magnetic field and blasted toward Yang Wu's electric fork aura. Previously, you and I worked together to condense a thunder and electromagnetic field. This time, I will use the Tao of Thunder to condense my own electric fork aura. A trace of madness flashed across Yang Wu's face. He didn't try to block these black demon thunders. Instead, he operated the Supreme Nine Mysteries formula and urged the electric forks to collide and fuse with the black demon magnetic field. Refine. Yang Wu planned to use the electric fork aura to absorb the black demon magnetic field and cultivate a thunder and electromagnetic field. This was undoubtedly a bold idea. It was easier said than done to fuse his own power and an external power. The Tao of Tai Chi. Yang Wu used the essence of the Tao of Tai Chi to stir the black demon magnetic field together with the electric fork aura. The heavenly thunder bone in his body flourished, and the electric fork aura released a trace of the black demon magnetic field's ability to devour it. 9 Thunder Body Tempering Technique. Most of the black demon magnetic field was pulverized, but a part of it still entered the electric fork aura and was absorbed into the heavenly thunderbone. At the same time, he released his senses to the maximum. His eyesight and hearing were not inferior to those martial artists who had activated their eyes and ears' aura talents. He could clearly see the various changes in the black demon magnetic field. The key to turning the electric fork aura into a magnetic field was the magnetic force. As long as the power of thunder and lightning was strong enough to produce the devouring power of thunder and lightning, it could absorb all the power of thunder and lightning. Then, it could release the power of repelling other powers to form a magnetic field. Yang Wu understood the principle of the magnetic field from the 2 senses of sight and hearing. Moreover, he had once cooperated with Yu to condense a thunder and electromagnetic field. He was no stranger to this aspect. He murmured, "The magnetic field absorbs the source of the same sex and repels the source of the opposite sex. It condenses a battle domain that belongs to one's own." Yang Wu urged the electric fork's aura field. Despite the constant attacks of the thunder beasts, they were unable to break through his aura field. Instead, more black demon lightning was being absorbed into the electric fork's aura field. The electric fork's aura field was gradually transforming into an electric fork's magnetic field. These thunder beasts were becoming more and more irritated. Their power of thunder and lightning could not harm Yang Wu, so they could only fight in close quarters. A thunder beast rushed into Yang Wu's electric fork aura field. It was immune to the power of thunder and lightning, and it seemed that Yang Wu's electric fork aura field could not harm it. However, just as it was about to rush at Yang Wu, the electric fork aura field transformed into a sharp blade and strangled the thunder beast. Puff! The thunder beast did not even have time to scream before it was twisted into a pool of blood by the power of the electric fork aura field. This was a magnetic field condensed by Yang Wu. Any power that was not his would be repelled. The thunder beast was even more so affected by the repelling effect, so it was killed. The blood of the other thunder beasts was aroused. They madly rushed toward Yang Wu's electric fork aura field. Yang Wu's eyes lit up. He shouted in surprise, "The way of thunder, myriad thunder for my use. Innate electric fork aura field condensed for me." Suddenly, a terrifying electric fork aura field was formed with Yang Wu as the center. Countless electricity turned into electric forks that wreaked havoc in this part of the world. Boom! Boom! Chapter 1222. Electric fork force field and electric fork magnetic field only had a one-word difference, but their power was worlds apart. Electric fork force field was just a lightning zone formed by lingering thunder and lightning, while electric fork magnetic field could continuously absorb the heavenly thunder from the outside world and repel the power of the opposite sex. When Yang Wu's electric fork magnetic field condensed, The power of thunder and lightning within 100 miles kept converging toward Yangwu. It also contained the terrifying Black Demon Thunder. The power of the Black Demon Thunder was many times stronger than the one he had just absorbed. Even a half-step heavenly ascension expert might not be able to withstand it. When the Black Demon Thunder fell on Yang Wu's body, Yang Wu's skin instantly split open. Pieces of his flesh were charred by the thunder and lightning. His meridians and bones were exposed before his eyes, causing him to grimace in pain. Yang Wu often refined sage elixirs to withstand the power of heavenly thunder and temper his powerful saint body. Now that he had broken through to the 5th-level celestial rune realm, he had a body comparable to a top-notch saint. His endurance had reached a new level, but he still couldn't withstand the terrifying Black Demon Thunder. 9 Lightning Body Tempering Technique. Yang Wu operated the body tempering technique and began to guide the Black Demon Thunder into his heavenly thunderbone. He wanted to borrow the power of the heavenly thunder to temper his thunderbone again. Yang Wu ignored the thunder beasts around him. They were no longer a threat to him. After a portion of the thunder beasts were killed by his electric fork magnetic field, the rest of the thunder beasts realized that the power of the electric fork magnetic field surpassed theirs. Moreover, they felt the same aura, so they retreated one by one. Yang Wu sat cross-legged on the ground. The heavenly thunder bone in his body was constantly being baptized by the power of thunder. The Black Demon Thunder was too powerful, and many of his heavenly thunder bones were shattered. If he couldn't withstand the tempering of the Black Demon Thunder, his bones would definitely shatter, and he would die without a burial place. The magic of the 9 Lightning Body Tempering Technique manifested itself. The power of the Black Demon Thunder was compressed by a lot, and Yang Wu's immortal body also revealed its abnormal side. The cracked thunder bones were once again mended, and when a new wave of Black Demon Thunder came in, they cracked again, and then quickly mended again. This cycle repeated endlessly and carried out a very cruel tempering. Fortunately, Yang Wu's fleshly body was strong enough. Otherwise, he would not have been able to withstand the Black Demon Lightning. He sat cross-legged for 7 days and 7 nights, and all the bones in his body were tempered. His bones became incomparably tough, like divine weapons, containing boundless lightning power. This was only the first tempering of the heavenly thunderbone, but it already allowed him to possess the power of the Black Demon Thunder, because he actually refined a Black Demon Thunder bead. This was the Thunder Origin bead. Only thunder beasts, who were born with lightning, could condense it. Who would have thought that Yang Wu could use the 9 Lightning Body Tempering Technique to condense an additional Black Demonic Thunder bead? This Black Demon Thunder bead alone could create a martial artist with the innate Black Demon Thunder body. Its value was extraordinary. If it were to explode, even a half step in a heaven ascension would be killed. The Black Demon Thunder power contained in it was too rich. Now it existed in his heavenly thunder bone, embedded in the dragon-shaped spine on his waist. It was like a strange dragon bead, and was very mysterious and extraordinary. Yang Wu looked at the Black Demon Thunder bead inwardly, and said in surprise, "Is this the origin bead that I nurtured? Didn't you say that only after reaching the Heaven Ascension realm can one do this?" Yang Wu summoned the Black Demon Thunder bead from his body. The moment he summoned the Black Demon Thunder bead, the Thunder Mountain flashed with purple light, and dark clouds condensed at the top of the Thunder Mountain. A sea of lightning appeared above the Thunder Mountain. Yang Wu sensed something strange and looked up. Instantly, he had an impulse to go weak in the knees. This terrifying sea of lightning contained an extremely terrifying power. Once it fell, he had no confidence in blocking it. Retreat. No matter how arrogant Yang Wu was, he did not dare to be arrogant. Without hesitation, he retreated down the mountain. However, the sea of lightning had its eyes on him, and a wave of lightning energy came crashing down on him like a lightning snake. This wave of lightning power not only contained crimson fire thunder, but also golden snake thunder, purple cloud thunder, and black demon thunder. It was a four-color divine thunder. The divine thunder was the power of lightning that even the Heaven Ascension realm experts did not dare to easily resist. If anyone below the Heaven Ascension realm was hit by this four-color divine thunder, they would immediately turn into dust. Yangwu looked at this wave of four-color divine thunder and cried out involuntarily, "It's over." When the heavenly thunder fell, the divine weapon electric fork in Yangwu's body rushed out and blocked this wave of divine thunder in advance. Boom! Boom! The terrifying sound of thunder and lightning was shocking, containing the power to destroy the world. The entire Thunder Mountain was filled with boundless lightning power. The mountain was shaking nonstop, and many creatures were frightened. Thunder Mountain had lightning all year round, but a divine mountain like this was especially rare. The divine weapon electric fork produced a powerful devouring power and swallowed most of the lightning power of the four-color divine thunder. Some of the divine thunder was still raging toward Yangwu. The remaining lightning power was still terrifying. Yangwu came back to his senses and raised the black demon thunder orb. He used the 9 lightning body tempering technique to absorb the remaining lightning power. When Yangwu came into contact with the lightning power, his entire body twitched violently. He felt as if his body was being torn apart. Fortunately, the black demon thunder orb absorbed a part of the lightning power and reduced the pressure on him. Otherwise, even if he did not die, he would have been seriously injured. "Refine!" Yangwu gritted his teeth and shouted. This wave of lightning power was refined into the heavenly thunder bone, tempering his body again. At the same time, the immortal peach tree above his dantian swayed with divine light and swallowed all the lightning power in his body. It even said, "Master, you can rest assured and absorb more power. It will be very useful to me. My body can't take it anymore. If I absorb more, I will die," Yangwu said with difficulty. However, he had no choice but to absorb more power. Another wave of divine thunder fell. There were a total of 91 different four-color divine thunder, and their power was even more terrifying than before. Each bolt was like a lightning snake or a lightning dragon. In an instant, they landed on the divine weapon electric fork. The divine weapon electric fork emitted a boundless amount of lightning light and kept on growing bigger. It actually pierced into the thunder clouds. Yangwu could not understand why the divine weapon electric fork would have such a strange change. He did not control it all. He did not have time to think too much. Another wave of divine thunder power went past the divine weapon electric fork and blasted toward him. "Immortal Peach Tree, it's up to you." Yangwu let go of the restraints on his body and allowed the immortal peach tree to release its power and absorb it. "Master, I'm still young. I cannot absorb the divine thunder through your body," the immortal peach tree replied weakly. After hearing what the immortal immortality peach tree had to say, Yang Wugong screamed again. His body fell to the ground and twitched. His skin was charred black, and blood kept oozing out. The sacred mandala flower on his body was so scared that it peed itself. It jumped out of Yang Wugong's body and said, "My lord, take care of yourself. I'm afraid of the power of the godly lightning the most." The sacred mandala flower actually escaped. If it was any other time, Yang Wu could easily control the sacred mandala flower. However, his soul and body were now covered in divine thunder. He was in danger of dying. How could he have the mind to care about the sacred mandala flower? Moreover, they had a master servant contract. If he died, the sacred mandala flower would not be able to live. The sacred mandala flower did not really run away. Instead, it let the immortal peach tree deal with the divine thunder power. It had just endured a wave of divine thunder power, and it was already enough for it to refine its body. The immortal flat peach blossom in Yang Wu's body unleashed its power once again as it absorbed the power of the divine thunder. More and more thunder patterns appeared on its stem and leaves, which were very similar to the great Tao of stars that it had imprinted on before. As expected of the immortal peach tree, it was not afraid of any kind of power. "Leave some power for me. I need to refine my soul and body." Yang Wu transmitted his voice to the immortal peach tree after the pain was alleviated. Since he wanted to refine his body, he naturally did not want to miss this opportunity. No matter how painful it was, he had to endure it. Only then could he become even more powerful. Divine thunder tempering the soul, tempering the body, and the 9 lightning body tempering technique, activate. Yang Wu sat cross-legged and roared. He activated the 9 lightning body tempering technique as fast as he could. The remaining traces of divine thunder power flowed through his body. It was no longer limited to the heavenly thunder bone. It was going to temper every part of his body, including his soul. Souls were most afraid of fire and lightning power. Once they came into contact with it, they would be turned into ashes. Yang Wu channeled the power of lightning into his soul. He was simply courting death. Yang Wu did not want to die. His soul was also being tempered by the 9 lightning body tempering technique. Moreover, he had the protection of the divine court Dao flower. He could definitely endure it. When the lightning entered his soul, he couldn't help but scream in pain. He did not fall to the ground. He was still sitting cross-legged and forming seals. The divine court Dao flower and soul were both injured. It was as if his soul had been attacked. Endure it. I will endure it. Refine. Yang Wu gritted his teeth and endured the pain with a strong will. He didn't use immortal energy to recover. Instead, after the lightning energy was refined, he immediately used the Soul Control Heart Sutra's recovery chapter to quickly recover his soul energy. Moreover, he also refined a trace of Soul Spring to speed up his recovery. When his divine court Dao flower and soul recovered, he felt that they had become much stronger. It is indeed effective. It is just too unbearable. Continue. Yang Wu gritted his teeth and continued to channel the lightning power to temper the divine court Dao flower. He had completely forgotten about the godly lightning trident. It went into the dark clouds and the thunder sea, absorbing all the lightning power in the thunder sea. Many complicated lightning marks appeared on the trident, and the great Tao of thunder was clearly imprinted on it. The dark clouds did not disperse. Divine thunder fell from time to time. However, the power of the lightning was not as strong as before. Even if it fell on Yang Wu, it could not kill him in one go. The immortal immortality peach tree would immediately take away the danger and leave some for him to temper his body. Yang Wu repeatedly tempered his body and soul. Traces of inexplicable impurities were expelled from his body. Yang Wu had recultivated in the God of War pagoda for 10 years and achieved the innate fetal body. It was one level higher than the immaculate body. However, under the tempering of the divine lightning, impurities were still expelled. These impurities were the accumulated impurities from his years of cultivation. For example, when he ate, there would be impurities left behind. For example, some minor injuries left behind after battles. For example, when he refined other powers, there would be impurities left behind. Chapter 1223. Thunder Mountain was covered with divine lightning, and the thunder beasts on the mountain kept moving down. Those who were cultivating at the foot of the mountain were chased away, not daring to stay on the Thunder Mountain. However, there were also some brave martial artists who went up against the flow. They thought there might be treasures on the Thunder Mountain, and they wanted to see if there was an opportunity to take them. However, after touching the divine lightning, they were immediately turned into ashes. Many creatures were frightened, and they hurriedly rolled down from the Thunder Mountain. There was a strong man who was half a step away from the heaven-reaching realm. His purple hair fluttered in the wind, and he wore a purple robe. The thunder-swallowing divine tower floated above his head, and he walked up against the Thunder Mountain step by step. This person was different from the others. His thunder-swallowing divine tower was a true divine weapon. It could swallow thousands of lightning bolts, and it could also allow him to ignore the power of lightning here. He looked around and saw the thunderclouds in the sky, and then the huge shadow of the divine weapon. Greed flashed across his face. I didn't expect to come across such an opportunity just to kill a kid. It seems that the divine item on the Thunder Mountain must be amazing. He sped up. With the help of the thunder-swallowing divine tower, he felt that he could do whatever he wanted on the Thunder Mountain. However, when he was halfway up the mountain, the power of divine lightning fell, and his thunder-swallowing divine tower shook. At the same time, he also felt that the power of the divine lightning was extremely terrifying, so he became more careful. He was afraid that the thunder-swallowing divine tower couldn't withstand it, and then he would be in trouble. When the divine lightning appears, the divine item will appear. This person was more and more certain that there was an amazing divine item on the mountain. He was determined to seize this opportunity. Halfway up the mountain, Yang Wu didn't know that someone was approaching. He continued to refine his soul and body for half a day. He experienced the taste of death many times, but fortunately, the improvement was very obvious. The divine court Dao flower seemed to have come to life, and it was branded with some thunder patterns. His soul became more condensed, and his soul power became more powerful. He realized that although his soul seemed condensed before, it was actually far from being condensed. With his current soul power, it was easy for him to kill the soul of a top-level saint, and he should be able to deal with a half-step into the heaven-reaching realm. It wasn't that his soul power had broken through to the half-step Tongtian realm. Instead, it was that his soul power had fallen to the high-level saint realm. However, his soul power was only strong, not weak. That was because his soul power that had reached the peak saint realm was just an illusion. It was a weak soul power. Now his soul power was tyrannical. In addition, his physical body's cultivation level didn't drop. His skin and flesh became even tougher, and his blood energy became even more powerful. He was like a human-shaped barbaric dragon as he broke through the lightning. It was extremely shocking. In his current state, he would definitely be able to withstand even more powerful star power. At this moment, the dark demonic thunder orb had been moved into his divine court. With the power of the dark demonic thunder orb constantly tempering his soul, it could be used as an alternative soul protection method. Even if the soul of a god-level powerhouse were to intrude into his divine court, his dark demonic thunder orb would definitely be able to kill them in one blow. Yang Wu woke up and felt that he had walked through the gates of hell. That kind of feeling was really uncomfortable. At this moment, he raised his head and sensed that the divine electric fork had fallen into the thunderclouds. There was a boundless power of lightning there, and anyone who touched it would die. However, he had an impulse to fly up. Calm down, calm down. I can't be hot-headed. Otherwise, I'll die. This impulse was an indescribable summoning power given to him by the divine electric fork. Moreover, the immortal immortality peach tree seemed to be urging him to ascend the thunderclouds. If you want to be my master, please ascend the thunderclouds. A sharp voice sounded in Yang Wu's mind. Master, go up. There's divine thunder liquid on the thunderclouds. It's a great divine liquid that my young body needs. It can also strengthen your immortal foundation. The immortal immortality peach tree urged. Yang Wu hesitated. The divine thunder was still there, and he was afraid that his small body wouldn't be able to withstand it. If you don't even dare to face this little bit of divine thunder, how will you summon tens of thousands of lightning and punish the common people in the future? The sharp voice sounded again. The immortal immortality peach tree also said, Master, my divine thunder liquid can help you come back from the dead. What are you afraid of? All right, that's what you said. Then I'll go up. Yang Wu shouted, stomped his foot, and rushed up to the thundercloud above. The thunderclouds were halfway up the mountain and not at the peak. This didn't count as going against Little Hay's instructions. This was the reason why Yang Wu had gathered his courage and dared to take the risk. The closer he got to the thunderclouds, the more terrifying the pressure of the divine thunder became. He felt as if he was facing the god of thunder. If he dared to get any closer, he would definitely be killed. Yang Wu stared at the terrifying thunderclouds. His eyes were filled with determination. 2 pairs of wings grew out of his back. As he flapped them, the winged demon patterns released an extremely aura. A gust of dark wind blew, helping him to rush up. Wealth comes from danger. If I don't die, I will definitely be able to borrow the power of the thunderclouds to obtain an even more powerful body. Yang Wu shouted loudly. Bang! Yang Wu threw caution to the wind and crashed into the thunderclouds. He thought that what awaited him would be the power of the divine thunder liquid. Who would have thought that this was not the case? Instead, he felt as if he had plunged into a pile of cotton flowers. There was a soft feeling, and waves of numbness spread throughout his body. When he came back to his senses, he had already appeared above the thunderclouds. Huh, where's the divine thunder? Yang Wu was extremely surprised. He looked around and saw the divine weapon electric trident standing in a pool of purple liquid. This purple liquid was unpredictable. Sometimes it was like lightning, sometimes it was like a dragon, and sometimes it was like a qilin. There were thousands of strange phenomena, and the divine thunder chi was astonishing. This is the divine thunder liquid? Yang Wu cried out involuntarily. The divine thunder liquid was a special liquid that contained a trace of top-grade lightning. It contained incomparably pure lightning power. Moreover, it also had miraculous effects. If a pregnant woman absorbed and refined a drop of the divine thunder liquid, she could create an innate lightning body fetus. This was a divine item that was priceless. Even the major forces would fight over it until their heads bled. It was rumored that there was a lightning pool in the Purple Firmament Palace. Every 100 years, it could produce a few drops of divine thunder liquid. However, the grade of the divine thunder liquid was probably incomparable to the divine thunder liquid in front of him. Yang Wu's absorption became hurried. This pool of divine thunder liquid was as much as 5 cubes. It was enough for him to use it for a bath. If he collected all of it, he would definitely become one of the richest people in the transcendent world. Every drop of divine thunder liquid was worth 1,000,000 low-grade divine stones. How many drops of divine thunder liquid could be divided into 5 cubes? You didn't disappoint me. The divine weapon electric trident's voice rang out again. Following that, it said, "Next, you will undergo a test. As long as you can endure it, you will obtain a divine skill." What test? Yang Wu's eyelids twitched. You are not allowed to borrow the power of the immortal tree to refine the power of this divine thunder, the divine weapon electric trident replied. Its body trembled, and a bolt of divine thunder shot towards Yang Wu. The power of this divine thunder was not diluted. It was only 1 grade lower than the 4-color divine thunder that had struck down earlier. However, it was still not something that a half step into the heavenly ascension realm could withstand. Yang Wu had not reached that realm yet. How could he withstand it? Yang Wu screamed miserably. His body was on the verge of collapsing. His flesh and blood were charred, and his organs were severely injured. His divine courtyard was on the verge of collapse. His soul was in a state of collapse. He was on the verge of death. This time, the immortal peach tree did not help Yang Wu. It seemed to have reached a tacit agreement with the divine weapon electric trident. Under such circumstances, how could Yang Wu save himself? So painful. Am I going to die? Maybe I am really going to die. The immortal body did not react at all. I cannot withstand the power of this divine thunder. It is too scary. I did not get to see my parents again. I don't know if my brother is doing well. No, I still have people I care about. I cannot die, and I do not want to die. Even if the king of hell wants to take me, I do not want to die. Refine the divine thunder. Yang Wu had an illusion of death. He had almost given up on living. Fortunately, his willpower was strong enough, and his survival instinct was strong enough. He used his last breath to circulate the supreme 9 mysteries formula, refining the power of the divine thunder into his dantian. The 9 thunder body tempering technique once again showed its power of tempering the body, urging the divine thunder to temper the body. This kind of tempering process, which was close to death, tested one's willpower even more. A 2nd-grade immortal liquid flew out from Yang Wu's Qinquan space and was refined into his meridians and organs, nourishing his vitality once again. The wisp of immortal qi was also mobilized by the supreme 9 mysteries formula, restoring the vitality of his damaged body. Suddenly, his comprehension of the way of life and death appeared again, capturing the vitality of his body and branding it into the black and white lotus seat. The black and white lotus seat was formed by the fusion of the qi of death, the qi of the tomb of the gods, and his own vitality. It nurtured an astonishing qi. It was not completely perfected, with the black lotus petals as the main force. The white lotus petals were obviously inferior to the black ones. After he had captured the vigorous vitality, the white lotus petals grew and gradually showed signs of being on par with the black ones. Only when the two reached a balance could it be considered the true way of life and death. The power of vitality contained an indescribable principle. Yang Wu could not understand how this principle was created and how it existed. He could only slowly comprehend it from an outsider's point of view. It was a mighty force of the universe that seemed to have existed since the creation of the world. Where there was life, there was death, and where there was death, there was life. There was a fine line between life and death. As long as there was a fine line between life and death, one could possess infinite power. Yang Wu used his own fine line of vitality to instantly activate the vitality of his entire body. A vast amount of vitality exploded in every part of his body. His festering flesh quickly scabbed, his old skin shed, and new skin grew. It was a scene of a withered tree coming back to life. The black and white colors of the black and white lotus seed were finally equal. The two forces had reached a true balance. The principle of the way of life and death was clearly comprehended in his soul. The soul that was about to collapse rapidly reassembled, and it had an additional spirituality of vitality. It was like a flesh and blood clone, and its power was even greater than before. When Yang Wu's body was regenerated, the divine weapon electric fork actually struck with the power of divine thunder again. Tempered sacred body, it's time.